What up, family? We about to be rocking and rolling. I've been here. I just was trying to wait till they came on. I want to thank everybody for tapping in. Stop that madness right there. I want to thank all y'all for tapping in. Buddha Nick was the first one in the chat. What it do, good brother? Sweet cupcake on break. Thank you for tapping in on this lovely evening. Granny G, how you doing, beloved? Thank you for tapping in. You see Marcia Tarberson. Y'all hit that like button on y'all way in and share this thing to y'all different social media sites. We need all the help we can get. Cicero, what it do, good brother? Thank you for tapping in. And we got the lovely Eleanor Wicker in the building, the lovely sweetheart Shell. How you doing, family? And we got the lovely Sunflower has touched down, you heard? The lovely Felicia Martinez is in the building. I ain't going nowhere. How you doing, beloved? Thank you for tapping in. H. Spragg, good evening. Good evening, beloved. And shout out to Jed and this INA team. Loving me. Hey, we going to need more than love right now because it's rough. The lovely Lanita Murray, how you doing, beloved? Hope Beasley, how you doing? We out in these streets. We finna see what's going down tonight. You heard? Want to go ahead and, since we got this up
the
and
time
rolling.
Now is 4:32.
Miss Eunice, how you doing, beloved? How you doing, beloved? Reginald Davis in the building.
Affairs meeting.
Sharon, how you doing,
April
beloved?
13,
Wanda Smith.
2026.
Let me see, Wanda Smith, how you doing? You see how all them queens just came in and one time just hit me with them all at one time. Katie, how you doing, beloved? Thank you for tapping in. Alan, what it do? Mr. Thomas in the building. How you doing?
Mr. Alamina's not in.
Back out. We're going to let this thing proceed. And,
Dr. Lewis is not in.
I'll be tapping in with y'all periodically
Ms.
through the
Johnson
breaks
is
and
not
stuff.
in.
But y'all
Ms. Priestley,
tap in
Ms.
to
Winfrey
us.
Carter,
Ms.
Ms. Burns,
back about this thing.
Ms. Mashat,
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in.
This thing.
Mr. Jarrett,
Present.
you have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. We'll proceed with the reading of disorderly persons city code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meeting. Are there any requests for agenda changes and or additions?
Mr. Chair,
Madam Clerk?
we do have one add-on from the administration. It is a resolution to enter into a contract with community-based organization partners, CBOP, for fiduciary and program administration services under the FY29 Burn State Crisis Intervention Program, SCIP grant. And I do have copies. We'll hand them out now.
And that's an add-on resolution?
That's correct.
Okay, we will add that with. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Madam Clerk, that will be add-on number 1.
Mr.
And
Chair.
we'll look to place it, I guess we'll do it after ordinances and before special orders. Councilwoman in the 7th Ward.
Oh, thank you. So, Mr. Chair, we did receive a legal opinion from our attorney, and at some point, I am going to make a motion for us to make that opinion public so that we can read it.
Okay. Any other additions and/or requests or changes? Seeing no movement, we'll move on to public comment. And we will state that members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. Madam Clerk, the first speaker, please.
First speaker is Takesha Jameson. Takesha Jameson.
I've never been to one of these places. Thought I was gonna be second. I was coming just as a witness that my mother has been having an issue with some of the repairs to her house and was told that it wouldn't be replaced, that she had a shed and not a garage. So I was just coming as a witness to speak behind her that she did indeed have a garage that was knocked down and rebuilt, and I have aerial pictures to prove it. So I don't know where else that would go. So I'm just gonna stand by as a witness to had a house that I lived in as a teenager and as an adult. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Marianne Jameson.
Good afternoon. I'm here today for what Michael Carpenter had said about my garage. It is a garage. Michael has been lying to you guys, trying to make y'all think that I don't know the difference between a garage and a shed. I never had a shed. And when he said that we have to see a movie, I never saw a movie. Never was called in to watch a movie. And let me see, he called when he first called me, and I said, well, where is the money for my relocation? He told me, well, I can't give you the money for the relocation. Either you want the money or you want the garage. I said, what? They don't cut a lot of funds. You know, he gaslighting me. They don't cut a lot of funds. You want that or you want the money? I said, well, since they don't cut some funds, I said, I'd rather have my garage done. You know, okay. But it seems kind of funny, a day later, his contractor called me, told me, okay, the house is good and clear. You can go back and move back in. I got witnesses on that too. You can go back in. So I moved back in. And so the same contractor, the guy that he hired, came knocking on the door. Y'all ain't supposed to be here. I'm like, well, we was told that we can come back in. What's going on? So we left, and 2 days later, they said we can move back in. You know, so what's going on? I think it was a scam Michael Carpenter was pulling, so he could have an excuse to put it on me, not to give me my garage that he promised, and I have it on paper. The scope, the guy that did my work, Terry, he did my work. He did a wonderful job with my windows, with my sun porch. He did a beautiful job. And he gave Terry a scope of work to do, and it says garage. He was gonna demolish my garage and replace my garage. That's what he did. He telling a whole bunch of lies. Michael's not the same person I met 3 years ago. Something is wrong. And I don't know what you guys, I don't know if you do drug testing or whatever. Something is wrong with him because he's lying, he's scheming, he's manipulative, you know. And you know, that's all I can say about the situation. It was a garage. I cannot say it more loudly. It was a garage. I don't have no reason to come down here and lie. I'm an honorable woman, paid all my taxes, been working since I was 13 years old. You know, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next public speaker.
The next speaker is Alize Jameson.
Good evening. I'm speaking on behalf of my mother. Yes, it was a garage. I don't understand how you would get a shed and a garage mixed up, but yes, it is a garage. You can even look up online and see pictures and photos of the property that it is a garage. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next public speaker, please.
Next speaker is Keyshawn Wade. Keyshawn Wade.
Last name Wade.
Yes. The next speaker is Stanley Wood.
Good evening. It's been a little while since I've been here. Had some health issues, but I'm working through them. Let's cover some things today. You know, it really burns me up. Let's start out. It burns me up every time we hear we don't know how much money, ARPA money is left. It burns me up that we don't follow the Flint City Charter. It burns me up that the mayor won't come to council to ask questions. It burns me up when Councilwoman Priestley gives half-truths on some things. It burns me up when arson in the city and we have no answers to it. It burns me up when the council weaponizes the police against the residents. It really burns me up when Mr. Moore comes to the lectern every time with no answer. It really burns me up when the police chief won't come and answer council questions. And back to Mr. Moore, it really burns me up when his favorite answer is, I don't know, or I can get you that. I'm gonna have to email you that. It burns me up when Clyde the Slide just slides around things all the time and never answers questions. It really burns me up when we have two golf courses making good money, but we're not receiving a penny. The city is not. Instead, we're paying them to make that good money. It burns me up when you turn the water on and your faucet and it's brown and smelly. It burns me up when we still don't know how many lead lines have been replaced, how many more are left to go. It burns me up that the city of Flint received $30 million in 2018 to tear down Atherton East buildings, but it's still standing in 2026. It burns me up that Atherton building was supposed to be replaced with new public housing, but now it's designed as a green space. So what do these all things have in common? They all burn me up. So how do we solve these issues? Let's start with Tanya Burns for mayor. Tanya Burns for a better Flint. Now that I said that, like a couple seconds left. Duran and Corona Road, there has been a water main break there since before December, sometime in November, not sure exactly when. It's right at the corner. How much money are we paying for all this wasted water? And I'll leave that at that for right now. I have more.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next public speaker, please.
The next speaker is Darrell Brown.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we got to speak about isn't just for council, but it's all for the city of Flint. There's been a lot of things going on in the city of Flint. People being stabbed, shot, houses getting burned up. It's almost as if we're living in hell. But it's pretty simple. We see all of these things happening. There has to be something done, right? But where does it start? It starts with the person in the mirror. So I'm urging everyone that can hear this message to get closer to whatever your higher power is and go out and do better. There's enough hate in the city of Flint because it seems like you can't even talk to your neighbor at times. I know we're dealing with a lot of things mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally, and yet somewhere we have to step up and say that we're not going to play the victim anymore, that we're going to go out and we're going to show how strong we are. I know we hear this thing where it says Flint strong. When do we start showing that? When do we start showing the civility, the love, the respect? One thing that I learned, my dad said, that if you want to make friends, you show yourself friendly. Even if I don't like someone, I still show respect. Even if I disagree with them, I still show respect. I still show love. I sit down and I can talk to anyone, no matter what their background is, who they are, what I've heard, and what's going on around me. If we're going to do something, it's not going to just be the council that's going to make anything happen. It's going to take us, the whole city of Flint, to make it happen. We don't wait for a savior. You go out there and you do it yourself. If you want change, be the change. Don't wait for somebody to do it and then try to hop on a bandwagon. You go out there and do it. Unify. Where's the unity at? If we really want that change, we need to unify. If we really want that change, we must be that change. We must show that love, show that respect. Anything that goes against that, pay attention. What is that? Hate, division. Don't just speak it, but also show it. Darrell Brown, 7th Ward City Council candidate. I love y'all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next public speaker, please.
The next speaker is Sarah Houston.
Are we on our own timing, or I have no timer up here? That's what I'm. There's no timer up here, sweetheart. There's no timer, so I just wanted to. Oh, it's up. Oh, I don't see it, so I don't have track, which isn't fair. No, it's not up here. It's saying no signal on the outside. Yeah. Just
Madam
wanted to-
Clerk, yeah, can we restart her time? Madam Clerk, please.
And then tell me when to go.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. As I said in the last meeting, Mr. Pfeiffer made a valid point in his objection to the resolution. What does begin the process mean? What does that mean? Begin the process. It's a simple process, truly. It's a phone call to Communication Access Center, 810-239-3112. And then what you do is you say, I need an interpreter. I'm requesting an interpreter for Monday, April the 20th, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. I gave you 5 hours because y'all know y'all take forever in a day to do stuff. Also for Wednesday, April 22nd, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then they will find the interpreters and bring them here. It is a simple process. What are we waiting for? Waiting on technology is not an excuse to hold access. And maybe having to pay for an interpreter for a particular amount of time will make you be more accountable to the time that you are given here to do your job. Speaking of accountability, I was very disappointed that you guys, well, particularly Judy, Ms. Mushat, and LaShawn, who is not here, refused to do the job that you are elected to do and hold the mayor accountable. You refuse to do so. You've asked nicely on several occasions to no avail. Again, you are elected to do the job of holding the mayor accountable. Instead of trying to do that, you guys wanted to, I don't know, stay in his good graces. You might scared of retaliation. You failed to do your job, the one you were elected for. I feel like we in Flint are double doomed. On the federal level, the Congress won't hold the president accountable, and right here in Flint, the council won't hold our mayor accountable. I'm afraid, just to be honest, I'm just afraid because, it's bad enough I can't get it on the federal level. I can't even expect my people to do the right thing here in the city we elected them for. I cannot wait for the new ones to come in. I cannot wait for you old folks to be on about your business and the new people coming in and want to take care of the business of the residents for the city of Flint. And I too support Ms. Tanya Burns for mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next public speaker.
Next speaker is David Peachy.
Dave Peachy, 4th Ward, or East Side. I want to comment on this interpreter you're trying to hire for $25,000 for 3 months' work. You really want to get people involved. Get Comcast to put this back on 17. Pay them the money to do it. You get more people involved. They're scared to come downtown here. There's the people from the outside. They won't come to these meetings. Look at it. It's ridiculous. You want to give money. That's Burns' idea again, too. I seen the interpreter with Neely the other day at his little meeting. How many interpreters are we going to have? This is crazy. Then I seen Neely at a house that had 200 tires, and he was going to take care of that. How long does it take to build up 200 tires? Anybody have an idea in a house? All he is a campaign guy. I can take you in my neighborhood and show you 200 tires in 2 blocks that's been there for 4 years. The house that was burnt 4 years ago, and I got pictures of it. If anybody don't believe it, it finally fell down. It come down. It's still sitting there. Nobody's touched it. Well, they did have a bunch of Blight people come over, and they cleaned up the lawn and stuff, but they took that stuff and shoved it in the garage. They didn't take it anywhere. They just put it somewhere else. I am sick of the way you people treat the East Side, or the people that don't. The Mays Center. Is that the only senior center left in Flint? We don't have one in 4th Ward, do we? Do you have one in the 9th Ward? Do you have one in the 7th Ward? They burned yours down when it was in the park. Where's it at?
Brennan Center.
Where?
Brennan.
There ain't too many more senior centers anyway. But I'm just tired of looking at the blight, and you guys claim you're fighting for it. You're not fighting for anything on the East Side, I know that. And I know a big part of that is right there. But this stuff has got to quit. You've got to start taking care of the neighborhoods. I mean, like 6th Ward, the 7th Ward, and 7th Ward, they're the nicest neighborhoods in Flint. They don't need all this stuff. But you got, how many burned out houses in the 6th Ward? None. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next public speaker, please.
The next speaker is Audrey Muhammad.
If I can remind the audience that we are not in position and able to respond during public comment. There is council comment where if a council person chooses, they can address any questions posed.
Gotcha. Hi, my name is Audrey Young Muhammad. Live in the 2nd Ward, candidate for the 2nd Ward. Interesting canvassing in our community. It's not only just 2nd Ward community. Now 2nd Ward now includes some of 6th Ward, 5th Ward, and the old 3rd Ward. Very interesting. I see a lot of houses that have been burnt down with open basements. One sits next to an empty lot, and the lady have children. Big concern of the children playing outside. There was another house before in 2021, same situation, finally got tore down within this time period, but those are hazards. If it's a reason why it hasn't been filled in, like I learned the other day about the old Swanson Funeral Home, haven't been filled in because of the chemicals and it need to be cleared by EPA. Those things should be made publicly known because people do question those. And I was glad to talk to somebody and they tell me that so that way I can at least explain that part to them. But there are houses who have been cleared by EPA when I was walking through some of those neighborhoods and they have not been torn down. The neighbors was told that once it was cleared of the environmental things and the asbestos that was in them, they would be torn down. Got a neighborhood that has been having problems with flooding for 15 years. And even this last time around, they had just the minimal flooding in a few of the basements, but most of them did have some flooding. They even have some pumps. That's something they usually have out in the country with well water. But the neighbors are starting to get those because they are trying to make sure that their homes are safe and free from flooding. But they still had about 3 inches of water in there and they had to call somebody out to light their water tank. But it's a flood zone over in that area and there's something going on that maybe drains need to be cleaned or something like that. I did do a video and try to encourage people to clean out the main drains that's just right on their streets because that could keep and allow the water to flow in and flow through. That's something that need to be done anywhere. Like I say, anywhere you live at in the country, wherever, please go out and clean those. Another issue that I had was people was afraid to sign petitions because they said they have been stalked or harassed by currently elected officials because they took those ballots, those things, those signature sheets and took pictures of them and called some of those people or showed up at their doors. That is an offense, but that's okay. When this election is over with in November, I pray to God I get elected because those individuals that they talked about will be investigated. They definitely will be investigated.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next public speaker.
Next speaker is Joel Arnold.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Joel Arnold, live over on Mason Street, and I am a candidate for the 5th Ward Council seat this year. But what I'm actually here tonight to speak about is you have an appointment under consideration tonight for Dylan Luna, appointment to the Flint Planning Commission. And I just wanted to come here to speak, in strong support of that. I've been fortunate to know Dylan for a while, went to college with him, known to be a man of really great character, a deep understanding of the planning and development system, would be able to be, I think, a big asset to that commission and that board. So I hope that this body approves that appointment tonight. It's an important seat. And then I know there was also some folks here going to be here tonight from the Flint Housing Union, and I just wanted to, say how nice it is to see folks really speaking up for how can we do better by our renters in this city. About half of our city is renters, so it's very important that we as a city make sure that path to home ownership is available to everybody. But maybe if you don't have the money or it doesn't fit your lifestyle, you can still have a quality place to rent. So that's all this evening. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next public speaker.
The final speaker for this meeting is R.L. Mitchell.
Good evening, Council. I'm R.L. Mitchell. I live at 759 East Linden Avenue, owned by the graveyard. About the situation in Flint about these houses and roofs falling down. I want you to know on Detroit Street, I just found out that people's got burned up in it, and the same situation happened on Pulaski Street, happening in the Chief Wiggins and Chief Green, acting like what's infidels. And because they found it was people's, like I say, I live down on 3606 Garland and 10th Street, and my friend, I got friends like Tanya Burns and her, I can call her name, Francis, Seal, Fricks, and Leslie Rice, and Slim Goody, Elaine. I can go on, but they hired her to be the cook of that house. And I figured, I started to leave my house while they was negotiating to get me. I wasn't gonna leave. They said, you doctors getting too close to downtown, uptown. They wanted me to get me out of my house. I refused to leave. That's what kind of neighborhood that is over there where them Rubicon people's at. Anyway, about that money situation coming in Flint, talking about a new panel on the thing. Instead of giving Chief Green his cut and Chief Wiggins, and he up there calls he the arsonist dude. He blocked every time Northern catch a fire. Now he done blocked it. He don't let it burn down. Now you see why people's getting burned up in the houses and nobody doing nothing about it. And they come to these council meetings like this and threaten we the people, talking about you got 3 minutes to talk and you will be dealt with. And Ward 1, 2, and 3 is not in it. Oh, they go the third ward. That's my. I live in 3rd ward, and she'll take it to the bridge like Dane Brown and ready to get down with you. Block at these people and with Priestley, the woman with the money bag, always trying to jump on Tanya Burns. Who she thinks she is? I asked the public. Hello, and talking about the money. Like I say, we and the lady in 6th ward, she the one to write the rules, and she made a rule that called us up on get rid of Mays and Tanya, and now that rules stick, and now they don't know how to get rid of the rules without bringing Robert rules of order in it. The point of order, because Miss Priestley always talking about the rule, Robert rules. When Tanya finna get to the main point, she always cutting into Tanya Burns, telling her to shut up in her kind of way, but Tanya know the rules, and the other 2nd ward lady came was to announce the Robert Rules of Order. Well, Big Moose, they call her. She got a nickname. She earned that up on the council. Giving the other council 2 strokes with him and fighting the fight. Stay tuned, New York. You don't see how those Flintstones get our money.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you say that's the last public speaker? We will now enter council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Any council members have council response?
Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th ward.
Thank you. And thank you for each and every one that is here. We only get 2 minutes, but I do want to, talk, Mr. Peachy. I don't know how they put neatly stacked those tires in that house. That was just amazing, and including in the basement. I've never seen anything like that. And these tire companies have been doing it for years. These repair shops, they just crap all over Flint, and they don't have a problem with it. And it's easy for them, unfortunately. And they do it. You also asked how many burnouts. I spend a lot of time driving around in my own vehicle. The mayor gets a vehicle in city gas, and making sure that I stay on top of the burnouts. I had a man in October who died in the house fire that I turned in 3 times to be demolished. The house has fire escrow funds where the funds were taken from the property owner. House has still not been torn down. I can't tell you how many times I've asked how much is in the fire escrow fund? How many demolitions have we done? I've asked this for 3 years. 3 years, and no one will give the answer. The report came out, only person had the report was Councilwoman Priestley, and she stated that it was many errors on it and she didn't share it. So it is a problem, and it's a consistent problem, and there is no plan. I asked about what are we doing about prevention. We have arsonists. They said, well, little bit to nothing, you know, it is an issue. It's not, at this point, it's an issue because we don't have a plan. Whenever we ask, there's never a plan. And the blight is bad. And the tire companies absolutely love Flint and our abandoned structures. They love them. I keep a spreadsheet on all the burnouts, and I go back to follow up routinely. I yield the floor.
Thank you. Any other council members with council response?
Thank you,
Councilwoman.
Mr. Chairperson. First, I would like to thank all of the residents for being here. Thank you for continuing to be engaged in the process. I've asked for, you know, the residents to come down and be a part of this. I know that you have issues and concerns, so, you know, I'm asking that the residents of the city of Flint come down. And I want to say, Mr. Woods, Mr. Stanley Woods, thank you for your whole list, because in addition to your list, because I agree with your list of things that burn me up and burn you up, because that list that you gave, it burns me up too. But I have some other things that burn me up. It's a whole lot of things that burn me up here in the city of Flint. So if we could get together with your list and my list, maybe we can tackle some of these things that burn, that burn us up. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other council members have response?
Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman in the 7th Ward.
Thank you so much. To Ms. Muhammad, one of the things that we have been working on, I'm not sure where she went. Oh, I see you. One of the things that we have been working on is a storm system, a water storm system plan for the entire city. Because there's flooding, and this is not just a Flint thing. Infrastructure all over the state is in need of dire repair right now. But one of the things we're working on is a storm system plan for our city. I want to talk to you a little bit more about what you said they have going on as far as the flooding happening in the homes, because over on McPhail for years, they had some Olympic-sized pool flooding happening to the point where people who parked their cars on the street, it was up beyond their doors to the point where they couldn't even get in their cars. It was flooding so badly. And one of the things that helped, and it was a really simple fix actually, was the storm drain, the grate just needed to be lifted just a little bit more. And it has helped the flooding significantly over there. So I would love to talk to you and work with you on the flooding that you're saying is occurring in the basements. And then as far as the sump pump, there are other areas in the 9th Ward, right? They're asking for the exact same thing. And so myself and the vice president are looking into some funding to help residents get sump pumps. And so if we would love to bring you in on that conversation and see what we can do, because we've had a lot of residents who are experiencing flooding in their basement, and it's to the point where it's becoming a hazard because you have feces backing up into people's homes. And so we want to make sure if there's any way that we can include them in our funding search, that we do that as well. Mr. Chair, I yield.
Thank you. Any other council members have?
Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
We have had tires being dumped in the 4th Ward for a while. And I even got the land bank to go over and clean up a property right near Mr. Peachy's home. And they refused to go in to clean out the basement because they said Neosha will not allow them to do that. They said it's too dangerous. And I'm sorry for that. And I really talked hard to them, but they would not budge on that issue. I am constantly looking at tires being dumped and reporting them and asking for them to be cleaned up around the neighborhood. Also, we have had well over 200 homes torn down in the Fourth Ward in the last year and a half, and there are more coming down this spring. So watch for those. Those will be coming down. Think there's discussion on that kitty corner from your house, Mr. Peachy. I think those basements are coming out. There's a basement over on Pennsylvania that is totally covered over with overgrowth of weeds. And it looks like the whole roof collapsed inside. And the land bank, years ago, sold it to somebody who lives on that street. I've been trying for 3 years to get that property taken care of. So it takes time, and it's persistence and staying on top of those things. And there has to be the funds to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council members? Any other council members? We will now close council response and moved on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion? Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
There's a motion to approve the consent agenda made by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward, and it was supported by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Are there any separations?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, councilwoman in the 7th.
I would like to separate our add-on resolution as well as 250414-T in ordinances, and I will explain why once we get there. I yield.
Any other separations?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I
councilwoman.
would like to, thank you. I would like to separate 260089 of the amended budget for the Mays Center. I would also, point one. I would also like to separate 260107 just for discussion so people can know who Dylan Luna is. I would also that's it. I think that's it.
Thank you. Any other separations? We have total separation.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I may, before we go into resolutions, I would like to, there's been some question for some time on this council about the resolution that was passed as far as ARPA dollars that were placed in the general fund and the resolution regarding who has say over those funds and when those funds are supposed to be exhausted. We have received a legal opinion on it, and I would like to make a motion to make this public so that I can read the legal opinion so that we can all be clear. I just made it. Yeah.
There's a motion on the floor to make the legal opinion public, brought forward by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Is there discussion?
Through the chair, from the legal department standpoint, legal opinions are normally confidential. So with your motion, you are asking to waive that confidentiality. And the law department does not object to that. But for future reference, the legal opinions are confidential under attorney-client privilege. But again, at this juncture, the law department does not have an objection to the contents of this legal opinion being read into the record.
Right, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Madam Attorney, we are aware and we have voted to waive legal opinions before. Thank you for putting it on the record.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Attorney Gurley, So it's prepared and you're going to read it in, is that correct? Regarding if the, regarding, in December, and I think it became effective January, I believe, that the 40 million, but the 39 million with the ARPA funds, once it was placed into general funds, but then in the bottom of it, there was on the resolution, I think, be it as resolved, that the monies were supposed to be spent in a certain way. And so you're okay with having this, well, it needs to be transparent, because according to our last meeting, funds from the ARPA have been being spent without council approval or knowledge, not of the full council. And that is a problem because 5 members voted to, or maybe it was 6 then, to place that 40 million in ARPA and to be used and tracked as ARPA funds. But one thing we do know, that when it goes into the general fund, it takes away that, according to how general funds can be used for cities with the state of Michigan. So I'm looking forward to this discussion, because there are some questions then with funds that have been spent, and then also organizations who are still expecting funds. And then in addition to, we have a December 31st deadline to have ARPA funds spent. So there are some questions, some serious questions, and I'm looking forward to hearing the legal opinion for transparency, because there were organizations who said they never got a call back, some of them. And this, it seems like it was a symbolic vote that turned out to be nothing on a resolution. And I don't know how, and maybe you can explain after, how do we retract that? How do we void it out? That's going to be interesting. I look forward to the legal opinion. I yield the floor.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Through the chair, I would just like to say that the legal opinion was based on a question, 2 questions actually, by the 4th Ward council person. And so the scope of that legal opinion is surrounded by those questions that were asked. To broaden the scope of what that legal opinion states is not advisable. So if there are additional questions that council wants answered after the legal opinion is read into the record, we can certainly do that. But there was a very focused questions that were posed by the 4th Ward. So I want to make sure that we answered those questions.
Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the second round? Any discussion in the second round? Madam Clerk, we'll go to the vote to waive the our privilege and have the legal to make the opinion public, with the motion to make the opinion public and read it into the record.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
And the vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
6 yes, 0 no. The motion is passed. Councilwoman in the 7th Ward, if you would like to.
Thank you. With that, to my colleagues for this, and with that being said, this is a legal opinion that we received, and I want to make sure that I give you the right date. On today, April 13th at 4:25 p.m., and this legal opinion is regarding, and this is the specific, determination of whether American Rescue Plan Act funding that city council approved for revenue replacement must be approved by city council before it is allocated. And it goes on to say that the issues, the fourth ward council person has requested a legal opinion on whether resolutions requesting funding from the $40 million American Rescue Plan Act, also known as ARPA, for revenue replacement that city council approved transferring into the general fund must be spent on the specific ARPA categories. Additionally, must city council approve the spending resolution before the funds are allocated or reassigned? The question is based on resolution 230464.1, adopted on December 20th, 2023. The answer is yes, with public purpose guidelines also being met. There is also a facts and analysis section, which it says city council acts through its approved resolutions and ordinances. Resolutions support ministerial duties of the legislative body, such as to express a determination or to direct an action or to approve a singular event. Ordinances provide the laws for a community and are more permanent. Further spending from the general fund has restrictions. Further, spending from the general fund has restrictions that the funds must have a public purpose. To determine whether an expenditure is a public purpose is whether the expenditure confers a direct benefit of reasonably general character to a significant part of the public. And it goes on to just give a little bit more background about ARPA and how ARPA funding was afforded to the city. I want to go down to the conclusion where it says, in summary, resolution 230464.1 permits city council to approve funding from the $40 million that was transferred to the general fund for 9 ARPA categories and subgroups, but there may be additional restrictions in ensuring that spending also meets a public purpose and other constraints that apply to the general fund spending. It is important to note that the city is not obligated to spend the $40 million revenue replacement dollars by the end of 2026. That rule only applies to ARPA funding in the 287 account. And so there's that. And just to go back as a reminder, because that was the conclusion. But again, when it says also meets a public purpose or other constraints that apply to the general fund spending. And again, that was just basically whether the expenditure confers a direct benefit of reasonably general character to a significant part of the public, which our categories did. Mr. Chair, I wanted to enter that into our record. And if I may.
Thank you.
If I may.
Yes.
Yeah. The reason it was important for me to read this is because there seemed to be a question of whether or not a resolution or an ordinance passed by this body had any legal merit. And that made absolutely no sense to me. And I felt like it was a direct disrespect to us as a council to even question our authority once a vote is cast, once a resolution is sent. And so this says the answer is yes, meaning those dollars, they come before us, because that's the only way that we pass that resolution. I know it keeps being brought up that members of this body passed a resolution to put it in the general fund. I am one of those members of this body because I passed it with the caveat that it would still be spent with ARPA category in the ARPA categories that were previously approved, and that it would come before this body first. So if we're going to spin a narrative, let's give the whole narrative. That resolution was only passed to the general fund with the understanding that those ARPA dollars are still very much under the guise of council to be able to decide whether or not it will pass or fail. Mr. Chair, I yield.
Thank you. We will now move to resolution 260089.1, amended resolution acceptance Genesee County Senior Millage funding, Eric May Senior and Community
Mr. Chair.
Service. Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to send resolution 260089.1 to council.
There's a motion by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward to move the resolution to council.
Support.
Supported by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Is there any discussion? First round.
I think y'all were waiting for something from Mr. Moore. Tanya.
Oh, the amended resolution for the city center? Yeah.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Yes, for you, Mr. Chair, to, this is discussion, right? I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
was reading
discussion in the
something.
first round.
Yes, if I could, after you to Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore, if you can come forward, please.
Hey, Mr. Moore, good evening, and Mr. Borley. Quick question. We were asking, and we've asked several times for months, is that the budget for the Mays Center that we're just now getting right before as the resolution? This is the budget.
Thank you, ma'am, sir.
Okay, so just for public, we are getting this now at approximately 5:26 p.m. We've asked for it for months. And so, Mr. Moore, so it says the expenses are $124,000 for fiscal year '26, supplies and operating $34,000. Down here at the bottom it says mowing, part of the contract with county, snow plowing, part of contract with county, mowing, and what does that mean?
It's not part of this budget directly, it's part of another contract. Both of those items were part of another contract that comes out of the park budget. It's been taken care of by the park budget for years. And we don't have an itemized invoice that separates those items from any of the other parks.
So does this budget, so you have supplies and operating. So are you considering, so for 34,000, does that include the 124,000? We're break this, so salaries. We know that's 85.5, is that correct for the director?
That's for the director, and there's a couple part-time people as well.
Okay, and so how much, who are the people and what are the amount? This is not broken down. And so when we talk about what is the budget, that should be operating costs along with supplies, programming, what part of the budget, how much does it cost, even if it is the county? It can be put in parentheses to let us know how much that amount is for the grass cutting. What about utilities? We have lights that are over there. The parking lot lights are separate from the building utilities. And I think that runs about $300 a month. So if we could have a budget, and because what we asked was where does the $54,000 fit into their budget?
It would be an addition to what we have here, allow us to either expand the programming or we could.
So what type of programming do we have? Because this is all you gave us. We don't know. I would like a detail so we can see. I mean, we've been asking and we've been patient, beyond patient. So programming, I saw your resume, so I know you know how to do that. Please and thank you. So if we can have that, what is the programming? Is the programming arts and crafts? Is it, are they doing dancing? Are they doing chess? You know, what type of programming, billiards, and how much is for each type of programming? I would like to have a detail. Now, I know 54,000 is not enough. It's not, because especially we're looking at the salaries. So one salary for the director is 85.5. How much is the salary for the other, because she's not doing everything. Who are the peoples and their job titles?
The other people are part-time, so
And what are their titles?
I think it's administrative assistant, but I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, how many do we have? How many people are in that facility running it?
I believe 2.
So 2 people. So who cleans the building?
I don't know.
Mr. Moore, this just isn't feasible. If we could get all of that and get it on a documented form, please. Because, I'm gonna tell you, I know they said give them something and give them something limited. That's not what you do. I read your resume. It may be about 6 pages. Yeah, I mean,
Janitorial services are about $1,500 a month.
I'm sorry, the what?
The janitorial services are $1,500 a month.
And so can we get all that broken down? I mean, we know what it takes to run, and I like to see what does it take. Some of the other senior centers, what they do at Brennan, Hasselbrink, and some of the other ones in the county, they do fundraisers. So we get a detail, and I would appreciate it, please.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Any other discussion in the first round?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
And also, Mr. Moore, through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Moore, also with that detailed, itemized budget, can you also add in how much money is being brought in when people rent out the center? So we need to know that as well. Thank you. I'll yield the floor, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Councilwoman in the fourth ward.
so I understand the absolute need for a budget. This is budget hearing time, and when we get to that, we will be following up on that, and we would want that information for sure. Because we did not get a good budget when we opened this May Center for ourselves and supported them. We haven't had that information as requested. However, I want to remind my esteemed colleagues that this is additional dollars that will either eliminate some dependence on city funding, as well as possibly increasing class offerings and other services to our seniors. And by delaying this vote, we are constantly turning back time and not allowing those to be included, increased, and possibly we had someone here last week who said that they hadn't received payment for their classes. Now, that's not unusual for the city. They do tend to pay slowly, but maybe the funds weren't in the budget. We don't know. We haven't seen the budget, but those funds will help pay for those classes. And I've seen the schedule when we haven't received it often, but we have received a schedule of events at the May Center occasionally. And there's a lot of classes there and a lot of offerings for our seniors and other people in our community. And it's providing a valuable resource. And I just hope that someday we can get something like that on the east side that will provide as many opportunities for the seniors on the east side. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Not seeing any movement, I will take some time here. I try not to do this often, especially publicly, yet in this instance, I feel obligated to speak with regard to the genesis of a delay on a vote in the affirmative from me on this particular resolution tonight. To me, the delay does not lie in tonight's vote for approval or to even move it to council, because this is not the first time this resolution or concerns around a budget has been brought forward. And when provided, what we thought at the time of being handed out would be a complete line item budget, and it's 3 lines, and the third line is a total. So I have to still show some form of stewardship, and not just because services are being delayed. Well, when was the money approved that would cause one to say, I have money in order to be able to commission a contract or enter a contract with a service provider for classes? There's nowhere on the budget that we received just now that has anything about classes or instructors or professional services. It says supplies and operating expenses, and the other line is personnel expenses. So I'm not going to take responsibility, nor am I going to feel pressure to vote to move this forward when I don't know what it's going to cost us to run this facility. I'm not trying to withhold services to the community, but I do need to know how much it's costing the community to provide such services. I have to know before I just say yes. I have to know that, and I appreciate the councilwoman in the 5th Ward bringing up the fact that neither on what was provided tonight in an addendum, a handed budget, nor in the resolution when we were provided how the $54,000 of the grant would be utilized, but there was no mention of income that this unit or that the facility would generate by way of rentals. That helps to offset or help us to be able to project offset of city costs, because we would assume that that money would be applied towards the operating costs. But again, Councilwoman in the 5th Ward, I can appreciate her presence of mind to say, hey, there's a revenue stream here that we need to make sure that we're accounting for. Because I know it was part of how, under previous management, that facility was ran, and they only received the county funds directly. Yes, they applied for some other grants and had some fiduciary or some philanthropic support, but it wasn't all on the city as this will be otherwise. So again, at this point, there's more information that I would like to see, and I do believe that the CFO is understanding really what we're asking for, and at what level of detail, and I believe that he's capable, well able to provide it. So I'm gonna be looking to receive that before I can vote on this any further. And I yield the time. Any discussion in the second round?
Mr. Chair,
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
thank you. So, Mr. Moore, Mr. Borley, so it did not, and we know that centers and properties are bypassed like the golf courses, just bypass city council. They don't come here, and we don't ever know how much they're making. And people don't have to give financials like the golf course. So who approved for the, because we didn't, who approved for the, or did we approve for, I didn't, for the Hasselbrink or Mays Center to be open? Who approved it? Okay, so here's my, how much money of ARPA have been spent on the Mays Center?
That'd be for salaries.
How much has been spent year to date? I know there were some things that they did, that they paid for as they transitioned out one and into another. How much has been spent? I would like to see how much has been spent. And we didn't approve, or who approved the ARPA salaries?
The salaries would have been approved by HR.
Okay, so the salaries to spend for the Mays Center were approved by HR and bypassed city council. Because any ARPA funds are supposed to come to city council.
I think for all positions go through HR for the salary classification.
And all dollars spent go through city council for
Right.
ARPA. With that nice little legal opinion, it said that in December 2023, that all funds have to be approved. And it's not you, and I hate even, it's
But
not
the
against
City
you.
council did approve the expenditure of money for staffing for the May Center.
How much did they approve?
Uh,
That may have been one of the call for the questions.
on the second page. They approved $187,500,
187,000,
500.
and for how many years and what positions was that
That'd
approved
be for 2.5 years,
So 2.5 years?
right?
Okay, and so that was approved, and that was ARPA.
Right.
So they approved ARPA for that. What about the programming since it's opened up? Was that, who made the first payment? The vendor said they got a first payment. Who approved that?
The payments came out of the park fund.
How much was that?
Most of those have been running around $500-600.
Can we have a detail, everything that has been spent line item on the Maze Center? Because I will say that my colleagues here do read. That way we could please have that. That way we don't have to ask you the questions. We can read it and then it'll be good to go. If you could please give us a line of everything that's been spent on the Maze Center. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the second round? Discussion in the second round.
It's gonna have to go back. It's gonna fail now.
Then I'll take a moment and ask question. The 187,500 that was approved. Can you share the resolution number for that?
That'd be resolution 240139.
240139?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, we will now take roll call vote on 260089.1 to move to council.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson? Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin is not in. The vote is 3 yes, 3 no.
Mr. Chair.
The vote is 3 yes, 3 no. The motion fails. Madam.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to send it back to finance.
There's a motion by the councilwoman in the 6th ward to send this back to finance, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis is absent. The vote is 5 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no. Resolution passes and it goes back to finance. We'll now move to appointment resolution. The motion passes, I'm sorry. Appointment 260107, appointment Flint Planning Commission, Dylan Luna.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion to send to council.
There's a motion to send the resolution to council made by the councilwoman in the 4th ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 3rd ward. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, councilwoman in the 6th ward. Mr. Luna, if you could come forward, please.
How's it going? Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Luna. So you are going to, I believe it's the planning board.
Correct.
And I know, I'm glad that you came. I appreciate you being here.
You got
Because
it.
I think people often don't know, they'll know a name, and it's nice to put a name with a face. And I think we've begun to be so lax on our normal procedures
Right.
that we are not formal, and it needs to be, because you've done a lot of things. You've worked with many organizations. So can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah. Before I start our school board meeting on Wednesday, 6:30, come to it.
Oh, yeah, that's,
You got to make them, man.
that's the guy, that's the brown dude guy. I mean, what's the United States, amigo?
Trustee Luna.
Watch out, kind of guy. Watch out.
All right. I'm joking, man. But no, I'm a Flintstone born and raised. My first career was a teacher in Chicago. I taught in Detroit and Flint as well. I've spent time doing this work right now, economic development, for about 5 years. I worked here locally for about 3. I've been at the state for about 2.5 years, working to attract investments in not just Flint, but Detroit and the entire state from the US, Mexico, and Brazil. I love the city of Flint. I believe my education, my experience, I am a Spartan, by the way. I believe my education, my experience, my passion speaks for itself. Beyond the school board, I work at my family pantry. I volunteer there about once a week. We give out food in the South Side. When I can, I make neighborhood meetings in the Central Park neighborhood. I help with cleanups. I think my biggest accomplishment, though, is convince my wife to come to Flint from Detroit. And knock on wood, we can bring more folks to our family through that. But yeah, happy to answer any questions.
So you've done a lot. So one of the questions was if there's a conflict of interest. So you and I had spoken, how would you handle if it's something that you may be working for or close ties to that's a conflict of interest? How would you handle that?
Yeah, so I would first, so 2 things, right? 2 points. I would first speak to my actual role. I focus almost exclusively on industrial development and corporate headquarters. So I don't do like downtown stuff, Main Street stuff. So I don't do a lot of that work. So when it comes to, for example, Buick City, that's already zoned industrial. It's already been passed locally, county, and the state for investment. However, let's say, for example, there's another site that needs to be rezoned or needs to get an abatement from the city of Flint. I would recuse myself just out of, a caution of, transparency and collaboration. So I wouldn't partake in those votes.
So if there was something that may be an issue, you would recuse yourself?
Yes, I would.
Because Flint will hold you to that.
I always tell folks, like, you're not going to catch me doing anything crazy or sneaky because I'm still young, and even though I'm bald, I want to make sure that my record is clean as I advance in my career. So I wouldn't do that.
What do you hope to achieve by being on this board?
I don't think about that. I'm not sure about that, but no, I mean, a couple things, right? I just want to, lend my experience. I mean, I think, my history of, working in government and politics and policy, my network that I have throughout the state and the country and the city, I can use that expertise, to advance, good projects in the city. I know zoning pretty well. I know all the kind of technical terms when it comes to variance and lot size and all the things you need to do when you approve a project or our site plan. So I think I can add to that. And I'll be honest too, we need more young folks in government in the city of Flint. I mean, there's been an old guard here for a long time, so hoping to kind of rejuvenate that piece.
Well, I just wanted to highlight, because a lot of times, that is an important board to be on as we talk about restoring Flint and growing Flint, that we have people who really understand what does it take to do that. And I have worked with you for some years, and we have actually got along pretty well.
Yeah.
And not always 100%, but we were, and I appreciate it that there is a respect and dialogue and for the projects that have come to Flint and the importance of, you have been kind of a unifier when you worked with Ashley Capital to bring everyone together to the table with the county. And those are things that we have to start doing is reaching across, well, they kind of down across the street, but down in a very nice building now. But to bring our county and state, to bring everything together to grow Flint. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
And I'll
you.
just add one more thing. I always tell folks live in a glass house.
Hold
going to
on,
Flint school.
hold on, just a minute, Mr. Luna.
sorry.
Any other discussion in the round?
Chair.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Go
Newport.
ahead, Dylan.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I was just, sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Chairman. I would just say, look, I live in a glass house on the Flint Board of Education. We have a lot of issues we're working to address, and we do that every day. We look to collaborate. But what that's shown me is on any board or commission or committee or body, number one, being respectful to your colleagues, being collaborative, even when you disagree, is very important to me. If you watch our meetings, I hope you don't, because they can go long too. But in case you do, I think my actions speak for myself when I say, look, I can disagree with you respectfully, but also talk to you after the meeting and before the meeting. So I do take that very seriously, being collaborative and respectful.
Anything else?
Got it.
Councilwoman? Anyone else in the first round?
Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman in the seventh.
Thank you, Mr. Luna. Thank you for joining us this evening. My comments the other day when you were not able to join us was just simply that the community is familiar with all of the work that you do. I think that you will be an excellent addition to the Planning Commission because of your background. And I just look forward to the commission being able to move forward and be stronger because the 7th Ward is currently vacant, and so you will be filling that vacancy with your expertise and also with your commitment to the community. I yield.
Any other discussion in the first round? In the first round. Any discussion in the second round?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilwoman in the
Thank you.
sixth ward.
So the planning, because a lot of people think we appoint to planning, we don't. We have to work with administration, but all of the planning, I believe, the mayor appoints them. Is that correct? Do you, Mr. Chair, to the city attorney with the council people?
Yes, the mayor appoints with city council approval.
Okay, so because I just wanted to be transparent, you know, and I think that there's a lot happening, and Flint is ideal for a lot of things. And when we look at how things need to move forward, and I know people think that, and I've had people call and ask me about who was the person appointed to the 6th ward, and it is, we don't, in our city charter, that is not our appointment. It is not our appointment, but we work together. And I've been to the planning commission meetings, and it's nice to hear, you know, when we have good things. I like to see more coming here, a lot more. It's troublesome when I see they may do Flint Township or Burton because they find it so difficult to do business with Flint. And we need to get rid of the red tape. We need to make it easier. And so businesses want to come here. And with too many times, we've literally lost them to just across the street. And so I am supporting this. But I wanted people, because everyone does not know you. You are visible in the, you know, in the community, but it's nice when you come to say, hey, this is important to me. I'm gonna take time out of my day on a beautiful, sunny, hot day and to show that I'm representing Flint and that I will represent Flint for all of its best interests. So I just wanted you to come so people can see, because we need to be more transparent.
Thank you.
And this is important. We talk about growing Flint and attracting new business. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the second round? Discussion in the second round. Seeing no movement, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Ms. Priestley? Yes. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis is absent. Ms. Johnson? Yes. The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. Resolution 260107 will move to council. We'll now move on to ordinances. Ordinance 250414, Code Amendment Ordinance, Chapter 35, Personnel, Article 5, Working Conditions.
Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman in the 7th Ward.
I need to do something for discussion's sake, but I don't feel like discussing it. I make a motion that we send this back to the appropriate committee.
There's a motion to send this back to the appropriate committee made by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward,
I couldn't think of it.
supported by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward. In this, the committee would be
Legislative.
legislative.
It's legislative. I couldn't think of it at the time. It's legislative.
So to move this to legislative, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis is absent. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no to move Resolution 250414T to legislative. Next ordinance is 260122, Code Amendment Ordinance, Chapter 18, Taxation, Funds, Purchasing, Article 4, Purchasing.
Mr. Chair,
Councilwoman in the fourth ward.
I make a motion to send to council for discussion.
Motion to send the resolution to council. Is there support? Support. Supported by the councilwoman in the seventh ward. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Councilwoman in fourth ward.
is there anyone from the administration who can who can speak on this ordinance?
Anyone to speak on the ordinance around purchasing?
See no movement, Mr. Chair, I make a motion to send this to legislative.
Support.
There's a motion made by the councilwoman in the fourth ward, supported by the councilwoman in the seventh, to send this resolution to legislative. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Vote is 5 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no. Resolution 260122 will be moved to legislative. We will now go on to the add-on resolution. Add-on number 1, resolution to enter into contract with community-based organization partners, CBOP, for fiduciary and program administration services under the fiscal year 26 Burn State Crisis Intervention Program, SCIP grant.
Mr. Chair,
Councilwoman in the seventh ward.
I make a motion to send add-on number 1 to council.
There's a motion by the councilwoman in the seventh ward to move this to council.
I'll
Is there
second that.
Supported by the councilwoman.
Mr.
in the
Chair.
fourth ward. Go ahead, councilwoman.
Thank you. I am not going to say her new last name, and please forgive me ahead of time, but I believe the former Ms. Brown is back there and can answer any questions we have about this. And anyone else who is here to answer questions with her. Thank you. And as you're headed this way, please correct me. New last name, I'm so sorry.
It's Caruth. Caruth.
Caruth?
Uh-huh.
Miss Caruth, thank you. And this, to my understanding, because we've already approved this grant. And so now this is just some contractual, this is just fulfilling a contractual obligation to have one of the entities that's going to work with you during this grant cycle, correct?
Correct.
And so we have to get this done. And the same way with the grant that we had to accept it because we were on a tight timeline as far as accepting those dollars. This contract is also on a tight timeline because this goes with the actual grant, but the contract is now ready for council to approve, correct?
Correct.
All right, if you could please just tell us a little bit about this contract, the entity, what work they'll be doing. And we do have some of the wages, fringe benefits, and supplies in there as well, but if you could go ahead.
So CBOP will be the fiduciary for the Flint Public Health Youth Academy as well as the Power Initiative, and I have a representative from the Power Initiative. In the Flint Public Health Youth Academy, they'll be providing a public health approach to gun violence reduction, which will include town hall events, a virtual campaign for youth violence. 1 second, I have our timeline put up as well to go more in depth. Yep, the Violence Prevention Workshop Summit, a youth town hall on gun violence prevention with elected officials and other stakeholders. And then I'll let Ashley speak to what Power Initiative will be doing.
Good evening, everyone. So essentially, can you hear me? Am I too loud? I had mushroom coffee today. Okay. We are your data heads, right? So our priority is data infrastructure, technical assistance, and then data strategy and project coordination. So connecting what the intention of the programming is, being mindful of the commitment of the grant, and also like a lens of equity, right? So not just how do you spend the dollars, but how do you maximize the impact of the dollars in the programming itself? And so that's our job. We'll build the data infrastructure where all the information will go. We'll consult on ways to collect the data, that one will give us the insight necessary, but also two won't be a hindrance to the purpose of the programming.
Thank you. Did you need anything else? All right, so I'm going to yield for this round.
Any other discussion in the first round?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilwoman in
Thank
the
you.
sixth ward.
We don't walk away yet, please. So we literally just got this packet. And so we are trying to go through it. So it says the sub-awards, professional service sub-awards. So is that to different organizations?
Yes.
What
So
are-
that's Flint Public Health Youth Academy as well as Power Initiative. CBOP is just serving as the fiduciary.
Right. And so these sub-awards, so is it only 2 organizations
Yes.
that it's going to? And you said it was going to Flint Initiative? And what was
Flint
the-
Public Health Youth Academy as well as Power Initiative.
Okay, because we just getting this, so it's a few pages to read. I was surprised, supplies only $556.
So the grant is less, it's about a year and 4 or 5 months, so it's not that long.
So when does it have, this weir's on December 15th. When does it have to be spent by? Was it the end of December?
No, June 30th of 2027.
June 30th, 2020, oh, okay.
Mhm.
Where's the amount awarded to be used? Is there a reason why we just getting this right
Listen,
before?
it's a lot of different internal processes that it has to go through. So,
Yeah, and it's really not fair to us to read it right now when they
so
have.
just to be clear, this is the grant that was approved back in February, I believe, 18th.
Mhm.
So this is literally the same thing. This is just us going into contract with the organization that was written into the grant.
Point of information?
What is your point?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, if the speaker recalls, the other organization, say the other organization for me.
Flint Public Health Youth Academy.
Dr. Key came before us and
He's been here 3 times.
Yes, and he spoke the last time that he was here explaining the work that the Public Health Academy would do. Am I saying that right?
Flint Public Health Youth
Flint
Academy.
Public Health Youth Academy, Thank you. And he spoke about the work that they would do when we did approve this in February. So just kind of trying to jog the speaker's memory.
Okay, so I do want, and I've seen is this the one that they do online too?
Yes.
Okay, and I've seen the form several times, and it's some very good conversations and dialogue. How do you reach the youth? How are you engaging them to get them into the program?
In lieu of Dr. Key and Dr. Bailey not being able to be here due to just some personal things, they wanted to send their thanks for hearing this from you all. And I'll speak just a bit to having worked with FIA in the past. So the Flint Public Health Youth Academy, this programming that's proposed is a model that they have been facilitating for quite some time now. They have multiple touch connections in community, right? So they partner with different organizations and they attract youth from that standpoint. They also have like a lot of folks, they're present in the neighborhoods. They come from the CBOP, that's the community-based organization partners. So when you think Mama Deloney and the rich history of being in community, and these are the folks who go door to door and are connected to family. So they have in-person mushroom coffee, bring it back, wrap it up, Ashley. Boom. Multi-pronged recruitment. You have your in-person based on existing relationships that the organization have. You also have both in-person and virtual recruitment based on partnerships with other organizations who are engaged with the youth who are their priority audience and also have relationships with them as well. And then thirdly, you have their digital recruitment strategy, right? So currently the Flint Public Health Youth Academy, for a number of years, has hosted an online digital platform where young people are facilitating conversation, and they already have a network where they reach out digitally as well. Does that answer your question, Councilwoman?
To some of them, because my biggest concern is when we look at, you said you go door to door. Thank you for sharing that. How often are they seeking out going door to door, and are you in the schools? Because that is where, I mean, the one place we know students are going to be, hopefully, is at some point in time in a school, whether it be charter, out of our district, but do you go to the schools?
Yes, Councilwoman. So, Dr. Kent Key, Dr. Sarah Bailey, and their team have been engaged in this community for some years. So part of their approach, and where we've also worked together, is they've contracted as vendor in the schools, Flint Community Schools to be specific, and they already have relationships to facilitate there as well.
Here's a question. What about the juvenile detention center? Do they go there? Those are our most at risk.
You know what I can say, Councilwoman, and I will meet you at the intersection of what the Flint Public Health Youth Academy and CBOP, what they do well and have a model for, and also what we do well and have a model for, right? And
That's
so,
my time. I'm sorry.
Any other discussion?
Through you, Mr. Chair, she can continue
Go ahead.
on my time.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And so the intersection of that and what I can say confidently, right, is that they are committed to and currently in practice of recruiting young people from a diverse range of spaces. And part of what they're positioned to do, but also is our position, is assessment of where they're operating, actual impact, feedback from young people, constituents, and things of that sort, and then using that insight to position themselves more strategically and also build capacity to do so. So they may or may not already be operating in the juvenile facilities, right? I do not want to say, because they're in a wealth of places and I can't tell you exactly who's on their roster. But to your point, Councilwoman, what I will say, and I've assessed in their strategy, and I don't know if you all know me, but I'm like a strategic savant. I do what I do very well, is that they are positioned to learn from this project and other projects, and that type of feedback that you offer in an organization like FIRE and the Power Initiative is actionable because it makes sense, and we're already in progress to expand our capacity to not only serve more young people in the juvenile facilities, but also young people with different abilities. Okay, and I'm done.
Thank you, thank you. Now, I have a question. I'm sitting here reading, where does Michigan State University come in on this?
So they'll be our evaluator for the entire program.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So we have the Flint Public Health Youth Academy, as well as the Power Initiative and Michigan State University evaluation team. Okay. All right. Thank you. I yield my time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? Discussion in the second round? Any
Mr.
discussion?
Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And it is, when I see the youth, and it is a big problem, there is not 1 week or every other day I hear about youth walking around carrying guns, youth who are, what they call them, trap houses, because that's the language. And those are the ones we need to be trying to reach. Those are the ones who, at some point, we have failed them. And so when I'm asking about that, because this is 393, is it 393? 393,000, that it's not going to be the kids, say, when my children were younger, that would most benefit from it in a 2-parent household. We need to get the kids who are homeless, whose parents are homeless, The kids who are, when we go over to the shelter at City of Hope, there are children there. The children who are over at Carriage Town, the shelter at the City of Flint, those are the kids who feel the hopelessness, and to be a part of that. And the juvenile detention center. Once they reach there, we have failed them. And then to get them, to pull them back in, and I've watched several times the program or the panel, and it's across on the Zoom. Is it the Zoom or is it StreamYard? Whichever, everyone's in a little box. And I watch those and I listen to what the young people are saying. But I want the ones who don't fit in and that the gangs have taken them. Because if we don't get to these kids, the streets do. I've been to in 2024, we had 10 children shot. 6 were fatal. Not one news carrier covered it. Not a single one stated it was a public health crisis on gun violence and children in our city. Not one. So when I'm looking at 393,000, those 10 children, some were sleeping in their bed. They were sleeping, and they don't care when they shoot anymore. They will just shoot. They don't care if granny in the house, grandpa, or they don't care. And so how do you reach those? Those are the ones that I care about them all, but I care about those children too, because they need to know we care and that they matter. They matter to us.
Councilwoman Burns, and I've been trying not to cry, so I'm gonna try to pull this back. You don't know who you're talking to. So a lot of times people ask, how do we? Because we romanticize revolution. People covet title, they covet position. They don't take the time to research the data. I have maps of data I have researched for a decade. Just 3 weeks ago, I sat down with a young man named Jamarion, 19 years old. At the Soggy Bottom, they wanted to kick him out, and I made a thing out of it. I made a thing, and that's my business. 19 years old. He graduated from the Flint High School 2 years ago. Somebody is stealing his check. He had in his mind to remember his auntie's number. I called his auntie because now I have smoke. I will stop because I don't want to take up all the time, but I think what I want you to understand, when you ask, how do we make a difference? One, we first need to assess the landscape.
Not how we make a difference, how we reaching them.
Yes, how we reach them. My
I'm just asking
apologies.
how
To be clear, how do we reach them? First, we need to assess the landscape. Where are the resources? What are the most significant needs? We need to put a name to it, and we need to map the data, which is what it is that we're doing. 2, we have to adjust our programming to be less about numbers, less about shine, and more about depth of impact. And we have to understand how to categorize those things to be able to put label to what the different tiers of impact are. We then need collaborative agreement because there's not leveraging of resources, right? So there's resource in different places. Folks is beefing, so there's no liaison, if you will. There's no Wakanda to help best assess our
I'm gonna
to help.
I'm gonna ask you
Sorry.
to pause just one
Yes,
moment. I'm
sir.
sorry. We're out of order to an extent. So let me bring us back to order. Go ahead, Councilwoman in Third Ward.
I'm going to go ahead and you can have the rest of my time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll wrap it succinctly, right? I think what I want to impart to you when you ask about the how, our organization, via that organization. And I am a social entrepreneur. I wear a lot of hats. Please don't be confused by the hats that I yield, but all of those hats have the same purpose. I have handwritten plans. We are dedicating our lives to understanding this city and not subscribing to like the gang. I don't care if you're black, right? If you're on the 1st ward or the 8th ward, like I like for my name to be good in each hood. So you ask me these questions, but how? One, I just want to say, we understand. I have data and maps. I'm down to sit down with you. And when you talk about this programming, right, you've seen the young people who are online, but those aren't all of the young people that this program will reach. And what we'll learn from this program will exponentially allow us to increase our impact. I am a member of the Genesee County Continuum of Care, as is the Flint Freedom Schools Collaborative and the Power Initiative. I have data and maps. And if you hop on that meeting on any given day, everybody knows who I am. At one point, I was the homeless outreach coordinator for Genesee County. I was the assistant director of G-Card. right here, and I have maps, and I am a strategic savant. I make simple things complex and complicated things simple. And so the how is there being more of us who are like me, and we do exist, who are more committed to the outcome in community and have the technical expertise and warm relationships to connect the dots, which is what we do every day. We just don't say anything. I'm not good at my promoting myself, but our impact and data, it speaks for itself, Councilwoman. And I would love to have more conversation with anyone else who would like to know. But I think for you, I want you all to understand that this is not a money grab. I don't need to grab money. I am wealthy. I cannot be bought. And if I am putting my name on it, that means it's above board, because if not, I don't want a part of it. And if I am putting my name on something, I have dual interest. I want it to be excellent in order to reflect well on our city too. And also, I intend to extract insight that will impact this community for generations to come. And I've never met anyone who does it quite like our team does. And I've not ever had the privilege of working with someone quite like Dr. Bailey and Dr. Kent Key of the Flint Public Health Youth Academy. And I hope that should be enough for you all to have your confidence in voting on this proposal, because this is like the second or third time that we've been here. We appreciate you. I cannot tell you how to do your job, and I will not try. I appreciate you, but it is really a burden to have to keep coming up here. And if there's anything else that we can offer so that we don't have to come again, I would really appreciate
Request
it.
for information.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want you, we just
Your
got
request.
this right before we sat down. We didn't get it in the email. We literally just got it to read. And so as you're talking, as our heads are bowed, we're reading. We're not against you. We just have questions. That's what our job is.
Yes, ma'am.
And I support what you do. I support what you do. But I want to, let's get them all in there. I don't want to go to another child's funeral with rest in peace t-shirts. I don't want to do that. I don't. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the second round? Go ahead. Fourth
Thank you
Ward.
very much for your passion for this work. The youth of this town has so many things going against it. And I've seen this developing over the years. And even when I was a child, there was a lot of issues here in the city. And I commend you for the work that you're doing. And I'm praying that this program shows success. If it saves one child, it's worth every dime. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the second round? Any other discussion in the second round? We will now go to vote. Madam Clerk, if you do the roll call, please.
Ms. Mashat? Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. Add-on resolution number 1 will go to council. We are now at special orders discussion item. Discussion item 260120. Discussion item city golf courses. 15-minute discussion item as requested by 6th Ward Council Member Burns to discuss city golf courses.
Thank you, Councilman Jarrett. Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Edwards or anyone who could speak on, and Mr. Moore. Mhm. Mr. Edwards, we got Mr. Moore too, please.
You come up also, Mr. Moore? Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Edwards, so we have the golf courses, which I believe are now being groomed, because I don't even know if there's some people I saw them out in Grand Blanc already on the greens. They were actually golfing at the Grand Blanc ones. And so my question is, with the golf courses, We have the contract. When is the we have never approved, when's the last time we approved their contract?
That would have been last year.
We did not. That contract came in at $72,000. City council, and the year before that, and the year before that, for Kersley Lake and Swartz Creek Golf Course. We did not approve it. Is there a reason why it came in at 70? We pay Flint Golf $72,000 to run the golf courses. They have never given any financials. They have asked for it numerous times. The city tax assessor had stated that we should not be having government funds for personal or private company profits. Why are we not bidding this out? It was bidded out twice, and an award letter went out twice to AGM, a company, and then it came back with another bid. Why are we not bidding this out, for one? And then two, why haven't we gotten their financials? I mean, this golf course, the financials, we're supposed to be 50-50 split. So if 3 years in, we're doing a 50-50 split, and we've gotten $0 in, haven't seen any financials when asked. There are two public properties, city-owned properties. One has 18 holes, the other one has 18 and 9 holes, and a banquet hall. And we know that they're taking the money at the banquet hall because people have had parties there that I know of. They have leased the banquet hall. So how much has this property made? What have they made? Have we received any money from them?
Let's first clear up the fact of the 72,000. The 72,000 was an allocation to them last year and this year for buying equipment and upgrading of the golf courses. It was not paid directly to them as part of the process, but they were allowed to do things to acquire equipment if necessary to improve and make sure that they're able to deliver the services. The financial part and the submission of financial documents, there have been actions to get those documents from that organization. Some things were submitted. I do know that there were some things that were submitted, but when you talk about profit and loss statements, things of that nature, no, I have not seen those particular documents, but I know that there were some financial documents that were submitted to the city.
So have we received any money?
My understanding.
420, is it 420 the marijuana day?
I don't know.
I mean, it's jumping out there on that golf course. And it's a cash basis. Have we received any?
I'm not sure I understand what your statement is.
So on 420, have we received any money, any profits that they're making? We're supposed, in that contract, because I read it, we're 50-50 split. So have we received any money?
We have not. The claim is there is no money. They came before you. The gentleman came here and testified about a year ago about the fact that they made no money.
That was, I think, 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
Could be,
he brought his
but
team.
it's the same organization. He claims, his claim is every year that he is not making any money.
So are we sending this out to bid that we're getting no money on?
There was a schedule for people to come in and provide proposals. That was under the previous Director for Business and Community Services. And then subsequently, there were no real proposals that were put forth.
Didn't Danny's Golf supposedly win it the last time? And what happened with Danny's Golf?
I have no idea who that is or whether they put a proposal
Yeah, in the bid process. So you've received some things, but you don't know which things. We haven't received any funds so far, and are we putting it out to bid?
Not to my knowledge, not at this point.
Why are we not putting it out to bid? Why are we continuously staying with the company that is not making any money? And 420 is packed on that golf course. It's packed. I mean, you can, yeah, it's 420 is coming up. And I'm gonna tell you, there's one vendor, they cleared like $20,000 that I know. And so we know that 420, you could be, and that's the marijuana. where people are on the golf course and, you're in your golf course, you can smoke outside, it's legal. Right, and they have vendors. I mean, this needs to be put out to bid. What do we need to do to make sure it's being put out to bid? Because it makes no sense for us to have 2 golf courses and the city's not making any money. But 420 busy. What do we need to do to put it out to bid? Again.
That's a conversation with purchasing to be able to do that. But the season, we're at this point, I think that's the reason why things moved in a progressive nature with the current vendor, because it takes a lot to transition to another vendor when the season is about to start.
That
has
may
started.
be true, but we've been going over this for 3 years. They spent the whole year because he was going to walk away. My memory serves me correctly. He was going to walk away. Then
If he didn't get a 3-year contract,
right,
that's what he was after.
But you keep bypassing council. And anytime it comes to that $75,000 threshold, you're bypassed. It's the same with the Huntington, the service center. We voted it down. Y'all did 2 payments of $55,000 and bypassed council. That happened with a 5, and I don't know how you bypass with a contract. That shouldn't have been legal because it was the payment along with a contract. So the golf courses, we should not be doing these golf courses. And I'm not a golfer. I go to do business on the golf course and drive the golf cart. That's it. That's why I golf. But the fact that not any funds have been made, that didn't alarm you, Mr. Moore? What would be your professional opinion as the CFO?
In terms of what?
I mean, we're operating a golf course. We're not making any money on.
Well, I guess my recommendation has been what I've had all along, is at some point we need to bid it out, just like we do other contracts.
And I agree, because 420, listen, I bet I go. I bet it's going to be busy over there. I guarantee it's going to be a fun-filled day. Mr. Chair, through you to the city attorney, how do we get this put out to bid?
Through the chair, as the administrator said, it would have to go to purchasing. So that would be a discussion about the scope of what you're looking for, the services that will be provided, but that would have to be a discussion with purchasing.
So we did it before. We have 3 companies that have been awarded this. Danny's Golf, I believe, and then AM somebody, I believe. And so at this point, I mean, Mr. Edwards, you're the second in control. Something in lieu of the mayor, you're that guy. This needs to go out to bid. I mean, we can't keep saying 420 don't make no money. And we can't keep saying they're renting the banquet hall out. And it's a bar and grill. What bar stays in business and stays open and doesn't make any money? They have a bar. Do we know how much the bar is making?
No.
We don't. But how don't we know how much the bar, I mean, how? They have a bar and then they rent it out. They rent out the banquet hall, which is a bar and grill. Bars make money. Liquor, you're gonna make, if you're on a golf course, you're having cocktails. That's one of the best parts about golfing. And then you go back to the clubhouse and you can have food. They have food. And so there's no money from food and no money from the alcohol, no money from 420.
Through the chair, in response to Councilperson Burns' request for more information, the profit and loss sheet from that company was provided maybe a week or so ago. So we are reviewing it to see why they are not profitable, if that is in fact true.
Okay, yeah, and this is lunacy, to be honest, not to be offensive. You have a bar. They have marijuana events. Marijuana companies make all kind of money, especially in our city. This is crazy. We could take the funds from that and use it for something else. Put it towards the Maze Center that it's open. You know, get a vendor who wants to come in, because one is on the water. Never seen a bar that doesn't make business on a golf, not ever. I don't care where you can be out the country. You can be in Cabo San Lucas over in Hawaii. You're going to make money on the bar. That's your money maker. That is your money maker. So I would like to see this be put out to bid, because it's coming back up again to where they prepare. And these contracts need to stop being circumvented from coming to city council. They don't make it to us. It doesn't look good. And we need to make sure that we're being transparent, because 420, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna send you pictures, Mr. Ep. I don't smoke marijuana or do gummies. And I'm gonna send you pictures. And you're gonna be like, oh, okay. And Mr. Moore, I'll send them to you too, because it's busy. It's busy. I yield the floor.
Any other discussion in this discussion item? Any other discussion in this discussion item? Any other discussion? Go ahead, Councilwoman.
So I understand, I've spoken to the golf course. I've been out there for events, and I've spoken to the person running the golf course, and they talk about the marijuana, and that is an event the golf course is rented out. They make the rental on those courses. They are not making money off the booths. They aren't running the booths. It is all an event. And for those people who have rented space for events, that's what happens. It's not the facility that makes the money. And I will also say that I had a discussion with someone who didn't even know he was on a Flint golf course. He had no clue. And he said it was the best golf course he'd been on that year, and he's a member of the Flushing Golf Club. So, and well-maintained. I know somebody whose husband works for Flint Golf. I mean, not Flint Golf, excuse me, the Flint Golf Club. They don't make any money. They don't make any money. So, and it's expensive to run those courses, and they keep their fees low. And he came and told us that we haven't fulfilled the obligation of the contract. And part of that was to work on the clubhouse, the building, the structure that's there. Have anybody's been in it, it needs a lot of work. And that's part of what the city promised Flint Golf to do, and they haven't done. Now, I understand that's being done this year. They're replacing the carpet, which is in tatters. It is disgusting. So, you know, I understand the concern about Flint Golf and stuff, and I'm just saying the fact that you talk about the marijuana events, and I know that there is a council member who really objects to that. But that is an event where the organizers are renting the facility from Flint Golf. Thank you, I'm done.
Thank you. We are going to call this discussion item to a close. This discussion item is closed. Next discussion item, 260121. Special order, Flint Housing Commission, 15-minute special order as requested by 6th Ward Council Member Burns to allow for a presentation from the Flint Housing Commission to discuss housing and updates for Flint.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I want to say thank you to the Flint Housing Commission with its director, Mr. David Northern, and then the president of the Flint Housing Commission, Mr. Trudell Kennedy. And can you bring your staff up? Because y'all a good-looking group.
Come on up, girl.
And if they can introduce themselves too, please, because this is having housing, and I did not realize how many units you had and how many we still more need. So if everyone could introduce yourselves, please.
First, I want to say thank you for allowing us to come up and present our information. I'll start by allowing our staff to introduce themselves and just tell a role that you play with the Housing Commission.
Hello, I'm Michaela Terry, and I'm the Executive Assistant to the CEO.
Hello, my name is Ashley Harris. I'm the Vice President of Housing Operations. I oversee the public housing and also the the Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shamel Burnett, and I'm the Housing Choice Voucher Director.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing? My name is James Franks. I'm the Property Operations Director for the Flint Housing Commission.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Doug Peters, the Construction Manager at Flint Housing.
And I'm David Northern. I'm the CEO of the Flint Housing Commission.
I'm Trudell Kennedy. I'm the President of the Board of Commissioners for Flint Housing. Thank you guys for having us today. First of all, I want to clarify an issue that was brought up earlier about the Atherton Terrace. It has been demolished. Atherton East, it has been torn down and leveled. So I want to correct that statement that was made earlier.
And some of the replacement housing is Clark Commons, which is developed throughout the city, different parts of the city. So we did replace some of the units, and we intend to place more units.
So let me say, and Mr. Your voice is a little low. So Atherton Terrace has been leveled, demolished, which was built on the plain. It was replaced with Clark Commons, and when it was a federal judgment. It sits in the beautiful 5th Ward, where Councilwoman Winfrey Carter, that project, and it has several phases. I think it's at 3 or 4 phases. Okay. So I know you have a presentation, and one thing I do want to say before you start your presentation, with housing in the city of Flint, and we know we have a larger unhoused population than we know. And speaking with you, I believe you have, is it 703 or 4 units that you lease out or rent out? Or can you give the number, how many units you lease out and vouchers that you give?
You want me to do it now or through the presentation?
Do it in your presentation. If you're, is the clerk ready? Or? Ashley, did you get? It's not working, so we're putting it out. Okay, it's not working. Okay.
So again, thank you for allowing us to come up and present to you guys today. One of the things that you have is a leave behind, a package that we utilize when we're working with various elected officials in DC or different areas. That leave behind has a number of items in there, and that's in the folder. It has HEAL, which is Healing Equity and Affordable Living. That's a project that we put together related to utilizing opioid funding to develop affordable housing, healthy housing. Also, it has Rising 35, which is a development plan into the future to a 2035 10-year plan. It has our internal strategic goals, our policy priorities, our fact sheet, where you can find a lot of the information in terms of the number of units and things that we have, a position paper on our capital backlog. And that's something that we utilize when we're in DC, talking to the federal government about funding that we may need. We just received $1.9 million for capital improvements to some of our properties. And lastly, you have a Flint Housing Commission pamphlet in that folder. So it's related to our current status. The Flint Housing Commission, we have about 602 hard units, public housing units that we own and operate, that we lease out. 68 of those are scattered site housing throughout the city. We're in a process of demolishing about 15 of those. One of the things that we're priding ourselves on is when we have properties that's in disarray, we don't let them stay up. We bring them down and be responsible stewards of the property and make sure the city looks good in those various areas. As far as the Housing Choice Voucher Program, we have about 1,444 units in our inventory, and we have special programs that utilize also the vouchers or resident type services, which is the Family Self-Sufficiency Program, Resident Services, Home Ownership, and Feed Flint Rent Relief Initiative. And that initiative is something that we most recently launched, and that was in order to help individuals, stop individuals from being terminated from housing. It's giving them an opportunity to donate time at the food bank, which also helps our food pantries. We have 3 food pantries on our various sites with our inventory. And so individuals that's behind in arrears and rent, they can go volunteer time, and based on how much they volunteer, we'll reduce the arrears they have in rent. And so there's no excuse for individuals that may be behind in rent to get terminated, because all you have to do is go volunteer, and we will reduce some of the rent burdens that they have. In our rental assistance demonstration program, that was created, I think, about 3 or 4 years ago 4 of our housing sites, Mintz Manor, Aldrich Place, Centerview, and Howard Estates, is a part of that rental assistance demonstration. There's 389 units. There's 4 different sites. That's one of the mechanisms HUD is utilizing to get out of traditional public housing, give ownership to the properties more to the public housing authorities and their partners versus the federal government owning those properties itself. The next page of that presentation, well, slide 3 of the presentation that we provided to you, is just talking about some of the projects that we have in motion. Again, we talked about the scattered sites where we applied from Community Development Block Grant of the city to help demolish some of those scattered site properties, but also we're looking for funds to help repair some of the ones that's not in repairable modes right now for people to live in. We have structural improvements going on at all of our sites. We're trying to replace elevators, replace boilers. I know we had that situation that we talked about in the news a couple of times about no heat, and I just want to elaborate on that some. One of the things that happened when it was a no heat situation, our team went out, we bought space heaters, and we knocked on everybody's door and checked on them to make sure they was in good condition. Everybody received space heaters that wanted space heaters. Now, our boilers are old. We are in the process of repairing all our boilers right now, and we're looking at replacing boilers long term. Now, another thing we had to help, another thing that we did is help educate the clients on the federal, state laws related to no heat, right? The state health department, no heat is below 68 degrees in terms of no heat. Now, our properties, our team, our maintenance team went out, they measured the temperature of every unit, and in the hallways, we had large space heaters for the hallway. So we did all we could to make sure our tenants was in good shape. And I think they had called you, Councilwoman Burns, and made sure that you knew about that when that question came up. Slide 4, we're talking about how we developing a team. Coming in a little over a year ago, we had a new board come in place, all but one member. We had a new leadership team. Most people are new on our team. So one of the things that we're really doing is working hard on training. We're training our staff. We're cross-training our staff. A number of our staff been trained and certified. We have our leadership retreats. Last year, the whole staff went on a retreat to work together. This year, the leadership team did a retreat so we can build and grow together as a team. And we require individuals to get certified. When you go to training, you get certified to make sure you can do the quality work that's needed to take care of the citizens of Flint, the ones that we serve. On slide 5, we talk about performance and HUD compliance. And that's one of the things I'm really excited and happy about. Coming in, the Housing Authority was under a recovery agreement plan, which means if we didn't comply based on what HUD required within a certain time frame, the Housing Authority could have went in receivership, where HUD could have come in and take it away from the control of local government. So we talked about our audit. We successfully submitted our audit this year. We successfully submitted it last year. In prior years, the Housing Authority wasn't able to submit it, but our team is working hard to ensure we do it, and we got it done for the last 2 years. Recovery agreement, I mentioned that. We came in with 5 months left for the recovery agreement almost, and we completed it. HUD was happy that we was able to complete that recovery agreement, and they kind of backed off of us in terms of our performance because they see that we have a good team and we're moving things forward. Inspire inspections. Inspire inspections is when HUD come out and inspect our units to see the quality of our units. Every inspection that we had this year, the number of the scores that we had on our units in terms of what kind of shape they in or what kind of work our maintenance team and our construction team is doing, it all increased from last year's scores. And so again, our team is doing a wonderful job. Part of doing our work is our software. We had an old outdated software system. We converted to Yardi. We probably 90% converted over to our Yardi system. It's a new updated, very great public housing and management software. So that's almost completed to help manage the property. And low-income public housing, both our programs, not only did we have a recovery agreement, both of our programs were considered troubled by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, meaning we didn't score on those programs high enough, and so we had to really work hard. Now this year, we received the notification by HUD, I think about a month ago, that our low-rent public housing program, that's the units that we own and operate, the hard units, is no longer in a trouble status. So we was able to move that out of trouble. Now, our Housing Choice Voucher Program, we're still working on that, and we haven't received our scores yet, but we hoping that program come out of trouble also. So the next slide I go to, I'll talk a little bit about our advocacy and our partnerships. One big thing that we're doing now is really making sure that people know who we are, and that's one of the reasons we're glad that we're able to be here. Our money is funded from the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the federal government. So we spent time in DC working with our legislators, our senators, and our representatives, giving them the information that they need to know when they're making financial decisions or policy decisions that affect the Flint Housing Commission. Now, a lot of times housing authorities go up in groups. We decided to go individually so they can remember us. And as a result of that work, Senator Slockton passed a bill. That bill was called Emergency Housing Act of 2026, that law. She utilized the information that we provided her. We sat at the table with her team. So Flint Housing Commission was part of making sure that bill happened to develop housing throughout the country, not just in this area, but it will help our community also. Our resident engagement. Coming in, we want to make sure our residents, which is our biggest assets in terms of why we do the work we do, are engaged with what was going on. We're out there working with them. Thanksgiving activities. I had the pleasure of dressing up both as Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, working with our kids this year. And that's something that, our board president, he's at the table coming, our staff is there. We want to show our clients that we're not just there to house them. It's more than brick and mortar. We want to be there to support them and know that we care. Not just sit in the office during the day, but on weekends and other times, we're there with them. Local engagement. We're working with a lot of partners here. Starting off the COC, we were really not active as the Housing Commission. We've been at every meeting. We're a part of the process, and we're even starting up special programs to work to eliminate some of the homelessness. We provide, I think it's 40 vouchers to the COC homeless organization so they can provide housing to some of the clients. So we're trying to help in all ways that we can help. In the congressional advocacy, I talked about Senator Slockton's bill she passed, but also we worked with Senator Slockton, Senator Peters, and Representative Rivet to work, and this is the first time this has happened. They have a federal community project funding request, and so what happens is they open that portal up, and actually Councilwoman Lewis mentioned it to us, and we worked on making sure that happened, but they open that portal up, and organizations, housing authorities, and other organizations can request funding. So we requested close to $54 million from those three legislators to help improve housing here in the city of Flint. Those projects included a family site revitalization, that's River Park, and some of our scattered sites, Rickett Manor, infrastructure and security. We know that we have some security issues and some infrastructure issues over there that we're working on improving for that community. We've been working with the Flint schools and looking at some of the vacant school lands and seeing how we can repurpose those lands and develop affordable housing on there. And then River Park hazardous remediation. So if you go out there, you'll see that some of the siding on the buildings have been replaced. We didn't have enough money to do all. How many buildings out there? 32. 32 large buildings out there. We was only able to do, I think, 6 of them. We was able to do close to 6 of them. So those is some mold on it from years and years of rain. So we're trying to rip all that stuff down. So when we at the DC, we're working with the legislators to make sure that they understand our needs, and we're being proactive. You don't get nothing you don't ask for, right? So we're utilizing every tool in the toolbox in order to make sure that our clients, our residents here, get the things they need. A few more things I want to talk about, a couple of strategies in terms of redevelopment on the pipeline. We have a not-for-profit called Great Lakes Affordable Network, which will work with the housing authorities to develop affordable housing that's not part of the federal government's inventory. It'll be owned and operated here within the city. So Flint Rising 35 is the development plan I talked about. Senior redesignation. So Flint Housing Commission does not own and operate one senior building. We have a number of places that should have been senior buildings, but the designation, HUD require you every 5 years to do a redesignation. In the past, it didn't happen, so we have 18-year-olds living with 65-year-olds. And that's some of the issues that we're having, for example, at Rickett Manor and some of those places like KMS. So,
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to add another 15 minutes.
There's a motion to add
No
15
objection.
minutes. Is there, with no objection? It's supported. We will go ahead and add, if we could, Madam Clerk or Secretary, 15 minutes. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you for that. We talked about the Hill. We talked about Feed Flint initiative. Not only do we have that initiative for individuals that may be behind in rent, again, that initiative helps not only those
Excuse me,
individuals.
you just left off at the seniors living, 18-year-olds living with 65-year-olds. I think that's where you left off at.
Yes. Oh, well, what I was saying was that we're working on a plan now to redesignate some of our properties as senior buildings so we can eliminate those issues that some of our seniors may have with living with young people. We wish they can all live together, but we know the activities of 18 or 30-year-olds is different from 65 or 62-year-olds. And so we're working on that. We hope to get the board approval in the next couple of board meetings to submit that to the Department of Housing and Urban Development for approval. And again, that's something that we have been working with our federal legislators. They kind of have to sign off on it also, since they control, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The Feed Flint initiative and our food pantries. So our food pantries at our various sites, we have River Park Townhomes, we have KMS, and we have Riker Manor. Those food pantries, is helping with the food deserts that we have in some of those communities. We've served hundreds of clients. Hundreds of pounds of food went out, and it's not just for our clients, it's for the city. It's for any citizen that need food, they can come and get a food pantry. That was a partnership we had with the food bank. So those food pantries really helping on our various sites. And just looking forward to slide 8, just looking forward, we have what we call a Public Housing Authority plan, PHA plan. Every year we do a plan and let HUD know any policy changes that we want to have in any one of our programs. But also we do a 5-year budget, financial budget, to kind of show them what work we plan on doing over the next 5 years to improve our properties. We talked a little bit about development earlier. We're really working hard on developing quality, affordable housing that individuals can, live in place, whether it's senior people with disabilities, and bring the right type of housing that's here. Again, as we talked about working with the school districts, talking about looking at vacant schools that we can repurpose to housing. We're doing everything we can do and becoming an economic engine in the city. As we develop and we create more housing, that's more jobs, more opportunities for individuals here in the city of Flint in order to have that money generate. Developers, we had a big, thank you. It's a little warm. We had a big developers forum where I think it was like 30, 40 different members that came around where we talked about our goals and what we wanted to do, affordable housing developers and contractors. Some was local, some came from different parts of the country. And we walked around and kind of showed them our properties and what we really wanted to do into the future. So as we talked about the development plan, we have an RFP out right now for developers to come work, whether it's property that we own, whether it's property the land bank own, but we need to develop more housing, right? And so that's what we're working on in terms of that. And the next slide is just a few pictures of showing us doing some work. You see our board president, not only was he in DC working hard with us, he was at the food pantry helping one of the clients shop at the food pantry. We sung carols to some of our clients during Christmas time. And, we're just really working hard, but showing the people that we serve that we're here for them. So that's really all I have to say. Thank you guys for allowing me to have this time up here. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I have just a couple questions. One, I love the food pantry. I think that's a fabulous ideal to do because a lot of times people don't even have access or transportation to go to the help centers that we do have. I love this. How many, do you have a wait list to get on the housing?
Yes, we have 2 different wait lists, and those wait lists, both of them are closed currently. We have one for the public housing properties. So again, those are the ones that we own and operate, like Riker Manor. And then we have a wait list for the housing choice vouchers where individuals can find landlords throughout Genesee County. So we have 2 wait lists, both of them closed. So I think we have about 960 people on the current public housing wait list, and the voucher wait list, we have about another 600. And so both of those are closed. And the reason we close them, because there's no reason to keep them open and keep putting people on them, because it's take years and years in order to get served. And so we close them, we work it down, and then we reopen them when it's time to lease up people for those various programs.
So we really do have a serious housing shortage. You have 960
people on a public housing.
If you need an apartment.
Yes.
And then you have 600 and something for vouchers.
Yes.
Wow.
And they're both closed.
And
so
how long would it take for that list? Or would it even, because you only have, that means everybody have to move out a unit.
Well, I mean, if we develop more affordable housing, yes. If we continually improve the organization, we receive more funds.
How many does Clark Commons house?
196.
196. Wow, I didn't realize your list was like that.
Yes. And it's like that throughout the country. There's a housing shortage, not just here in Flint. I know we're focusing on Flint, but throughout the country, there's a housing shortage, especially affordable housing.
Well, I know when we go around to these abandoned homes, you see people, we just had the fire on ML King where the house burnt down where there were homeless living in there. 3 lost their lives sadly to the fire. 1 lady was able to be rescued by Flint firefighters. Thank you to our Flint firefighters for rescuing her. That's okay. Thank you for, and I'll yield so my colleagues can ask questions. Thank you for coming.
No problem at all.
Any other discussion? Go ahead, Councilwoman, the 7th Ward.
Good evening, and thank you to all of your colleagues that are here this evening as well. I just have a couple of questions or points of clarification. One of the special programs that you mentioned earlier was your home ownership program. Can you expound a little bit more on that program?
So the home ownership program is a housing choice voucher home ownership program, and how that works. As an individual that's on one of our programs, we utilize vouchers in order to help support rental payments over time. So if you're non-elderly and non-disabled, you can have up to 15 years utilizing that voucher to help support your mortgage. If you're elderly or disabled, we can help you for 30 years. And so individual in our program, they have to go through certain classes and qualify financially. And whatever income they have, the bank do a calculation and whatever voucher size they have in terms of the payment standard based on the unit and where it's at, they can calculate that into financial mortgage payments. And so the client will still pay their portion and we'll pay the other portion for the housing. And the house is the client. So if they sell it and get equity, it's their equity.
And how long have you had this home ownership program, and how many people have you had successfully complete it?
Since I've been here, we haven't had anyone successful. I don't know. Shamel, do you know how many?
I do understand that you, as well as a lot of your staff, are a bit newer, so I understand if those numbers are not available. But is there a possibility of getting those numbers of how many people have successfully completed, if that has been tracked in the past?
Yeah, we can look at the numbers and follow up an email to all the council members to let you guys know. But that program has been around for 30 years almost, since I started in housing.
It's been around for 30 years, just all period, or 30 years in Flint?
It's a part of a program for every housing authority in the country.
For every house, okay, thank you. And then Howard Estates, I didn't think that you all had Howard Estates anymore.
Well, so the rental assistance demonstration, again, it's a partnership where HUD allows us to take the federal property off the federal government's deeds in a sense, and we partner with developers and we rehab the properties, and it's ran and managed, but we're part of ownership and not the federal government. So it's still part of our inventory. We're not managing it, but we still have ownership in it.
So you own it, you just use a management company?
So it's owned through a partnership. So our developer, we're part owners. The developers are part owners, and the development's management team, they're managing those properties.
Okay, because that is in the 7th Ward, and I do want to give credit where credit is due about the fact that, and I'm over there often, right? And so I do want to give credit to the fact that it is a much better environment for the residents there now. And so I am excited to see all of the wonderful changes that have taken place, even aesthetically, right? It's being taken care of, it's being properly landscaped. I feel like it's a much safer environment as well. There are a lot of children that live in Howard Estates still, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. And so even working with Dominique Strong, who grew up in Howard Estates, and so she's very strongly connected and tied to Howard Estates. And so there are a lot of program and educational opportunities that you all allow for the youth over there. So I just wanted to give kudos where they are deserved, but I do want to move on to Riker Manor, which is also in the 7th Ward. And one day I hope to give kudos where Riker Manor is concerned. Can you tell me about some of the structural improvements? Now, you all do have the new parking lot, so that has cut down significantly on some of the parking issues that have occurred, not only with McFarland, which is right across the street, but then also going off into that neighborhood, Fairfield Village neighborhood. So I know that that has helped some things significantly, but what other structural improvements are you making to Riker Manor? Because much like I've been to Howard Estates, I've been inside Riker Manor as well. And like I said, one day I hope to give the same praise for Riker Manor as I can for Howard Estates.
Yes, well, one thing we're doing there, one is redesignate that building as a senior building. We think it's set up more for seniors versus families living there. Not only did we do the parking lot, we improved lighting and extra security cameras out there in terms of the parking area. But as far as internally, we're looking at painting it, remodeling it totally. Again, I mentioned new elevators, new boilers, lighting.
Windows.
Excuse me.
Windows.
And paint those, what's that color? That light blue part of it. So just really improve it and update it. And so that's one of the requests that we're looking at. I think, again, we put at least one request into the city CDBG about the elevators or the boilers. And the projects that we send it to the federal government, that should help in terms of not just that building, but all our buildings. But that's one of the ones that's on our radar also.
Right, and I am familiar with the projects that you sent to the federal government. I did write a letter of recommendation for you all for those projects.
Thank you.
I do want to, because you're saying that you are going to look at kind of reverting back to it being senior housing, because at one point it was senior housing, so you're looking to go back. What happens to the residents who currently live there? Will they be moved to another, go ahead.
Whenever the housing authority decides to either tear a property down, demolish it, we apply for what we call tenant protection vouchers. And so if the building go back to senior, we'll apply from HUD to HUD for tenant protection vouchers. So it'd be like having a housing choice voucher. But not only will they give us the money for that, but they'll give us the money to help move. They give moving expenses to the clients to move and find a new location. And in some cases, they'll help with security deposits to make sure they set up in the right way.
And how far away are you from having the apartments revert back to senior? And also, have the residents been made aware of your intentions, and are they aware of where they will be moved to?
Well, it's early in the process.
Okay.
So again, in the next couple of board meetings, our board will be reviewing and signing off. Once we have a resolution, then we can submit it to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And if once they say yes, it's a lengthy process still, it won't happen overnight. But once they say yes, then we can start moving toward it. Because if they say yes, then they know where some individuals will have to be relocated, and so they'll provide the funding for that.
Oh, perfect. And then finally, I just want to congratulate you on a successful, I believe it was called, it's something night out, or is it just night out where?
Oh, National Night Out.
National Night Out, thank you. And that is where you honor police and fire, those who have those public safety jobs. I had an opportunity to work with Mr. Nashawn Edwards, and I wasn't able to actually attend the National Night Out because I was out of town, but I heard that there were several that happened in several locations at one time, and they were all very successful. Nice. I know that was something you all were interested in bringing back and making sure that the greater community was included. And I do appreciate the model that you're taking on now of housing not being separate from the communities that they sit in, right? That you are incorporating it as housing is a part of the communities. And I think that will also, help take some of the stigma off, and it will help get more people into programs that you have, such as your homeownership program. So thank you on the job that you're doing. Wonderful job to your team. Thank you all for the work that you are doing as well. I've had an opportunity to work with several members of your team. How you doing, Doug? And so just again, kudos to you on that. And I can't wait to see what we do with Riker Manor and some of those other properties as far as structural changes, because again, we know that when people have an opportunity to see that those who are in charge, if you will, of where they're living, care about where they live, then they also begin to take on that attitude and they treat the properties better as well. I yield.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I just want to thank you for coming, because you shed light in with your team, because we don't see you and we have to go to you. And as you're revamping and redoing the Flint housing, it's going to take a lot. And, we are here and Flint has to be a partnership with you. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you. Thank you all. We'll now bring this discussion item to a close. We'll accept the motion. There's a motion to adjourn brought forward by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Jarrett,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson? Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mushat? Yes. Vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
6 yes, 0 no. This special affairs meeting is adjourned at 7:05.
Good evening, family. I mean, what was this about? I mean, I'm kind of lost on that one. I thought we was gonna get an answer on a repayment, but that probably wasn't that was for right now, family. I know we got like 5 minutes. It's a lot of stuff I'm confused with, but I get it. It's election season, so right now it's probably no rocking the boats. I get it. You don't want to mess around. You can blow everything right now. And even with the other lady, like my question was, why you just ain't bring the data? Thanks, good brother Derek. I'm like, why you didn't bring the data and everything? What's up, Lumi? Thank you for tapping in. Thank everybody that's tapping in to watch this thing called council. I mean, like, what's wrong with bringing data? Okay, just saying it verbally. Can you come put it in black and white so we can see empirical data? You see, I use that big word, empirical data. I've been watching all these other people be talking. Why we can't have it in black and white? Well, Winters was here, family. She had to go leave and pick up Frodo. But I'm just tripping. Like everybody can cry now. I'm telling you, I hated when Winters did that damn show back when I was recording with Weaver. Them when she did that damn crying. It seemed like everybody do shows now with a little crying on it. I'm telling you, that was a bad president to do something like that because everybody. I'm just saying, I ain't knocking. It is what it is, but I get it now. I get it. And then far as Candace with why, I'm glad that she got that read out from that opinion from the lawyer. I know it kind of bit Candace in the ass when she was sitting up. Like, if the mayor been spending that 70, let's just say he's been allegedly spending that 72 or whatever, 75 threshold, and he's kept the Mays Center open and he's not coming to council, it proves their point, Candace. But I blame the 7th Ward. But then you got to look at let's talk about that golf course. If it ain't making no money, like, are you serious? Don't nobody keep nothing open, ain't making no money. But it's more probably to it. You know, that's above my pay grade, but ain't nobody ain't making no money. And you got a building, they'd have been shut it down. You think they're gonna keep coming out of their pocket not making no money? And then I'm just saying, then you expect them. He wouldn't have wanted, like Winters was saying, he wouldn't have wanted no thing for 3 years. You know how much money they probably got to make, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. This is the city of Flint. But I'm just saying, I'm watching a lot of things that's going on. Ain't nobody. It's just like, but I guess as we seeing it, this is how they do business in Flint. This all this showing me. This how they do business in Flint. Like, do nobody see nothing wrong with what's going on? And Candace and really Judy ass should be subpoenaed since she know everything and ain't reporting it back to council. I don't get it. I do not get it. I'm just saying, family. It's a lot of BS going on with them books. in my humble opinion, as we see Davina walk across. See, they don't care about nothing. They don't have to come back with nothing. They don't have to come back with nothing. Facts, Bluegrass. It's a big club and we ain't in it. I'm telling you, this right here, and you ain't like, it's a big club and we ain't in it. Ain't nothing Judy done seen that she won't vote yes on, except when it came to that grocery store.
We the people.
I never seen nothing like this. And Mr. Peachy, won't you sit up there and say why Judy can't make nothing pop? Yeah. She got every excuse. She come up with she rebuttal everything. But like I say, I don't, and I'm starting to think don't nobody want to touch that housing, what's the name? Because it's election season. Don't nobody want to rock the boat right now. But we gonna see. I think to bring in the housing, cause what did we prove? What we seeing is the brother talking about building more apartments. Didn't we say some of that school property, Northern might look like a good place to build apartments at? But I like how they building apartments and all this stuff. And like he said, it's the apartments hold 190 something, and you got over 900 people. Come on. That just don't make no sense. And my thing is, if Peachy, if you mad about the May Center, take it up with the mayor. Judy and Candace in the first ward, including the second ward, third ward too, they was all for a lot of the stuff that was going on. He might have replaced some people, but they still played the same game. Like I said, I look at it. Yeah, Mr. Pete, you see, he focused on, because he don't want to focus on Judy. To him and family, we do got to be honest. To some of these people, the things that they pushing through to a certain segment of our community is not tripping on that. I just want people to understand that. You know, a lot of these things like the golf courses, that mean a lot to other people. Maybe not much to us, but it mean a lot to other people. So we got to look at some of these things that they is putting on that they putting up in here. We questioning why they voting for it. It's a lot of people, a segment of our
If all
community
council
that
members
love what they
could
doing. They
begin
see
to
no
make their
wrong.
way back to the dais so that we
They see
may
no
start
wrong, and
our
that
Flint
would
City
probably
Council
be
meeting.
The 1% or the 10%. They don't care. The 85% ain't really paying attention to what's really going on. And you got your 5%, your poor righteous teachers. That's what I'm saying. When you looking at all this stuff going on, it's a segment like we was talking about the Flint Neighborhood United meeting. That's not for the regular folks, that group. That's for people, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that's for us. That's for the people that's going to be able to afford to stay in Flint. And we need to start paying attention to that family. We got to start paying attention and seeing, look, the well-oiled machine got their crew. That's why the 85% need to wake up. Hey, Mark Hutchinson, you telling the truth. He's a perfect example of the LBJ, quiet about getting his pocket picked. He was talking about Peachy. Facts. And that's a big segment of our community. That, you know, that's going up under that. And I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. I'm just telling you what I see. Right. Simple. Who comes to business without numbers? This how they been able to do. They ain't never had to show nothing. See what Philip said. There ought to be a group for people under 20K a year. Facts. Judy not gonna do it because Judy know one thing. She got the people that's running this thing gonna go along with it. Because that's what I'm saying. We might be upset, but we not the ones who the shot callers. They looking at we gonna be upset for a minute and it's gonna go back to what it is. I'm just saying a lot
If
of
all
the stuff that
council
we
members
seeing.
would please take their seats so that we could get the council meeting
And that's what I'm
started.
saying. And people, listen, I get it, you coming down to council, but I'm going to say it again to them council people who want to run to get on council. You better have your ass in your ward moving around in your ward. in doing that, because I'm gonna be asking Brother Elliott when he come on.
Councilwoman Priestley, if you would please join us,
I'm asking
it would be
tomorrow, has
amazing.
anybody knocked on the door? Because I got a call. I called my sister. Didn't get a knock. But I get it. Maybe he at council. He ain't got time to pay attention what's going on. But to me, being in your ward is better than being at council right now. Coming down there talking to the elector, that's cool. But being knocking on doors is even better. That's what's even better. Like I wouldn't keep doing this game right here. You better look at the people that was running, wasn't even showing up to council to get on the mic at the lectern. Think about that. Did you see Leon Down coming to council? Did you see Candace coming to council?
The time is now 7:15 p.m. on Monday, April 13th. I hereby call this city council member to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Say they want to run when they had them meetings. And we already know who was going to get picked. So you got to really, you know what I'm saying? Y'all really got to sit back and see what's going on.
Mr. Earl Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Present.
No, Judy don't care about doing that, but I'm about to tap out, family, because I see they coming up. Let me get back out of here.
Ms. Priestley? Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Here.
Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
We have 6 members present.
We have 6 members present. Ms. Burns, if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It is now time for a prayer of blessing. But before we get to that, is there anyone who would like to have or honor someone who may be bereaved or a family that may be in need of prayer?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
I'd like a prayer for the 3 victims who lost their lives in the fire of ML King. Also a prayer for the victim of a hit and run on Ballinger Highway in the 6th Ward yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 3rd Ward.
I'd like to order a special prayer for the Ruffin family who lost their mother, Catherine Ruffin.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
I want to make sure I get the last name right. I'd like prayer for the family of Kenneth Ricketts, who did a lot for the 4th Ward.
Is there anyone else? All right, I would like to ask for special prayer for my family in the passing of my great aunt. Thank you. Councilwoman Johnson, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, as we come here, asking you to bring your special blessings on all the families that we have lost. Lord, we need you. We need your guidance. We need your love. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that prayer, Councilwoman Johnson. It is now time for the reading of the Disorderly Persons City Code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 31-10, disorderly conduct, assault, and battery in disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. Are there any requests for agenda changes and/or additions? Seeing as how there are no requests for agenda changes and/or additions, it is now time for our public hearing. This public hearing, and also Resolution 260078.6, that's 260078.6, is the public hearing vacation of the alley between Leaf and Leith Street and McClellan Street. At this time, Madam Attorney, is there anything that you would like to add?
No, not at this time, other than this is the date and time certain for this item, and it's been matriculating its way through the process, so it is presented to you today.
All right, thank you. Just for the public, then, it's a public hearing to consider the vacation of the alley between Leith Street and McClellan Street. The owners of the property located at 3009 North Saginaw Street are requesting the alley vacation for a redevelopment project that will include the addition of gas pumps, a canopy, and improvements to the parking lot of the already existing liquor store. At this time, we will go ahead and open our public hearing. Members of who are present who wish to speak specifically to this public hearing, which is the vacation of the alley between Leith Street and McClellan, may line up at the lectern at any point in time. Is there anyone who wishes to speak to the public hearing, which is strictly about the vacation of the alley between Leith Street and McClellan Street? Mr. Mitchell. Thank you for joining us to speak about the public hearing, which is the vacation of the alley between Leith Street and McClellan Street. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Mitchell.
Can we start this time?
Davina, will you start my time? You understand the words that come out of my mouth, Davina? Okay, like I say, the Leith Street and the alley in between McCullen and Leith Street all depends on the peoples over there on St. John. The only building over there, the opioids, people who in charge of the dope. And you want to thank God for the people who left out of here. He told us where the dope money is going to report them cheap houses he built and stuff. Ain't put nobody in there yet. Over there by Cuartamiros, the Mexican taco house, ain't about 125 of them and nobody in there yet.
Mr. Mitchell,
to get burned up.
Mr. Mitchell, this public hearing is on the vacation of the alley between Leith Street and McClellan Street.
Yeah, like as you can see, Leith Street and McCullen Street, they stopped the fund from working on Burston Fieldhouse because it was a dispute because Effie May, little boy, they act like they want to tear down the club, and and they want to put it on television how a black man to take his property. He ain't no pushover. That's the real deal about the alley on Leith in the color, but nobody don't want it, like the mayor don't want to make a televised. All the people got killed in their houses. He ain't made it's just like blasphemy. Hey, stay tuned, America. You're going to see how these people's always trying to cover up something and think they're getting away with something. Don't want nobody to get a black man, a doctor, to get no money. They give it to the paleface to smoking up all the dope money. And like Buick, General Motors, don't give Flint one tax, one bit. That's what the dope people doing, and the other people playing. Oh, y'all listen to what I say. Y'all stay tuned. I'll keep coming back.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to the vacation of the alley between Leith Street and McClellan Street? Seeing as how there is no one else who wishes to speak about the vacation of the alley between Leith Street and McClellan Street, public hearing 260078.6 is now closed. Moving on to public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box was placed at the entrance of the city council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only one speaking opportunity per speaker. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The first speaker is Takesha Jamison.
I believe she left. Oh, wait. Nope, she left.
Mary Ann Jamison.
She left as well.
Alize Jamison.
I believe he left as well.
Keyshawn Wade. Keyshawn Wade.
They're here.
When does the time begin?
Oh, your time started.
Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Good afternoon, council.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I'm here today as a resident of Flint, an advocate
I know her.
and a member of the Flint Housing Union, a group that was founded upon the intersectional fight for housing justice in the city. And our group is comprised of homeowners, renters, as well as unhoused individuals, as well as we advocate for all of those three different classes, because in this city, we know that housing justice is interconnected. And I really just wanted to speak to what we've been seeing across our city at 821 MLK. Want to take a moment to commemorate those lives lost because those lives matter. And I really just want to say that what we see with 821 MLK, Village Shores, which I addressed this council a few months ago, Village Shores Apartment, and 1001 Saginaw Street, it is not a coincidence. It's not bad luck. It's a pattern of failure within the city, and one that is costing people their homes, their lives, their safety. I want to, speak to a little bit, give a recap of Village Shores. Residents there lived in a condemned building for over a year while rent was still being collected. Their water was shut off multiple times, their heat was lost, and they were told to leave with nowhere to go and no real support. At 1001 Saginaw Street, ceilings recently, just this past week, collapsed. Families lost everything. People were living without heat and in conditions that had already been reported, yet the response came after the damage was done. So let's be honest about what this pattern represents. This pattern is a system where landlords are extracting from the most vulnerable people in our city, and the city only reacts after that harm has already happened. That is not protection. That is not governance. That is abandonment. And I truly believe that this council has the ability to do something about that. Every single one of these situations raises up the same question: what is being done in real time to stop this before it happens again? Because people are doing what they're supposed to do. They're paying their rent, they're reporting issues, but it becomes a crisis because there is no clear system in order to protect the residents of this city. There is no consistent relocation support, no pathway to recover what was taken from them, no guarantee that the same landlord won't do it again. That is a breakdown of responsibility.
Thank you.
Also, I have a copy of a letter that I would like to submit to the clerk to put on the record for each council member.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Stanley Wood.
First, I want to give that gentleman that was just up here a great job, very well spoken. So obviously you know me, Stanley Wood. I'm here tonight because the residents of Flint are watching. We're not dumb. We see what's going on, and we have real concerns about what's happening in this city. There's ongoing questions about the city, about elected officials and accountability. Some of these concerns are concerns about residency requirements, concerns about potential conflict of interest involving nonprofits and voting for them, concerns about election integrity, and Sister Audrey Muhammad spoke on that herself again today. Concerns about conduct, transparency, and respect, both for fellow council members, but also for the residents. These are serious concerns, and the people of Flint deserve answers. Where's the accountability from this council? Where is the oversight for the mayor and his administration? Nearly $1 billion in federal funding has come to the city of Flint in the last 10, 12 years. That's why I'm going to support Tanya Burns for mayor. She's going to demand accountability for every dollar that's come into this city. She has a real, true 100-day plan. She's committed to addressing the police and the fire service. She stands on truth and transparency. And she will be accessible to the residents without hurdles, without blocking, no, make 10 appointments to try to get seen. And I know in the end, she'll come to every council meeting that she's requested to, but she'll probably be at a whole lot more than that. Flint doesn't need silence. Flint doesn't need excuse. Flint needs leadership that is willing to face the truth head on. That's why I support her. Then at the FNU meeting the other day, I know a couple council people were there, and I know you guys can't control that meeting. I understand that. But as a council person, as an elected official, did either one of you guys do anything when they snatched the mic from Miss Clara McClinton? I just wonder.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Darrell Brown. Sarah Houston. David Peachy. Audrey Muhammad.
All right, Audrey Muhammad, second ward candidate. This is part 2. Got residents talking about them being charged for sidewalks being repaired and fixed, and they've been fighting with the city trying to get that reversed, and they getting the runaround. Also talked to a few seniors, and told them, they asked about the ARPA funds. And I said, well, some of the money is going towards some of the senior centers. They said, we don't care about the senior centers when we got to live in our house and our houses are falling apart and we still didn't get taken care of. That's a big concern. We have to look out for our elders and our seniors a little more. Got a resident that lived right near me. In the back of her house is an alley. I didn't even realize the alley was back there, but years ago, because the police was chasing somebody, I guess that was Paradise Store, they tore down her fence and the city never took care of it. And she complained about it, and she's been complaining about it to the point to where she don't feel safe in her own backyard at times because people walk through that alley. It's not making it a safe situation. And like she said, she had to bring her grandbabies to her front yard. And then also, I just like to say, extend out a prayer for the Redmond family. They were the victims over at the other fire that same day over on Santa Barbara. They're not doing good. Please keep them in your prayers and your thoughts for the family, possibly smoking, but they're not doing good at all. But we have to do something different with fire safety, fire prevention, fire education. A lot of times they tell them, I don't think people really understand having somebody smoking even in the house when there's oxygen in the house. It can still explode. I'm a home care provider. If I go to someone's house, I have to call into my supervisors and tell them they're smoking at this house. This house is not safe for not only the patient, but it's not safe for me to come in and provide services. And I refuse to go in. I never seen what happened there. Now I know why I have to make sure that I document they're smoking in the house where there's oxygen in the house. We know it's a danger, and we see that all the time, the signs at the hospitals and medical facilities. But we have to take this very, very serious. Thank you.
Joel Arnold. Beverly Biggs Levy.
I'm sorry, what was that name?
Beverly Biggs Levy.
She left.
R.L. Mitchell.
I don't know what's happening.
I'm R.L. Mitchell. I was invited to this word accountability meeting last week. And there was a woman there. She's also an attorney like the one we got on this board right now, a woman of color. Her name is Michelle Young, I think. Yeah, and she made a statement, and we were holding up because they're finna break up the form, and the quorum finna walk out, but they hold it up, and Michelle came in, and the question was asked from one of the writer speakers, why did you hold up the thing? And Michelle, you're supposed to cut it off like y'all do here. And then she got offended and started speaking up for herself, talking about, I had a murder case, and so that ain't no accountability. She ain't accountable she act like the stuff got to go through her ward before it come through this ward, just like the attorney over there she wanted to ask, put it on paper, and she up there talking about doing all them new rules and stuff. It's not, and y'all gonna go with the okie dokie, but no, you ain't going with the okie dokie. You see what the guy with the house is saying, mixing them 18 years old with this dude 60 years old, and they smoking in the building, crippled, and got smoking on the oxygen tent and blowing up people's, and that's what you people want the people to hurry up and die, but they get for the mock college and can give everybody grants and keep on. That's how they living in this city, off of the mock money. The money will never run out. Like them people's up here talking about, yeah. And Miss Berman was talking, that woman up there talking that junk. Talking about, I ain't gonna repeat what she say, cause all that rat junk. Talking about young people, and they build a soccer field for them. They say you put the wrong grass on our stuff. Complaining already, all that junk up the Hassel Center, and then stop the program over the Burson Field House, cause matter of fact, white boys come over there and messed up the bro, and they apologized and gave them a break. Now the doctor's still taking up for them little nerds coming in here talking about and putting black people in all little PP houses, and all that junk, and they're walking out with a pocket of money, thinking the council go along with that junk. And the attorney over there talking that stuff like Tanya Burns got to bow down to that junk, making our attorney a puppet like the mayor. All that junk, little man don't ever show up like Tiger Woods.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mitchell. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Rich Jones.
He's walking through the door.
How everybody doing today? Just came up here because something been on my mind, and this city y'all are fortunate, and this city is misfortunate that the citizens of Flint don't run long. And what I mean by that is when something come up, we get hyped up, we express ourselves, and then a couple meetings go by, we fizzle down. Another tragedy or something pop up, and we forget all about what we stood for. And what I'm saying is, I'm speaking about our homeless situation. Next winter, there should be nobody that frees to death because they was not allowed into a homeless center. Behind every rule, there is an exception. And that weather should have been an exception that allowed that woman to get inside of that building. Another problem that we have is we gotta help these homeless people and be a little bit humble. Maybe we need to create a safe place for them to be at that they can't smoke in. But if they are not smoking, they are allowed to be in that safe place. And I'm talking about one of these schools that easily could be converted. We got plenty of them. We can work something out with the school board. We got a lot of houses that ain't affordable, that may become affordable to where you can house some of them. But something needs to be done before next winter. Something needs to be in place before next winter. Y'all got to start getting ahead of the ball before we start bouncing and rolling all over our people. Another problem y'all gonna have is arguing over that money to repair these streets, because damn near every street in Flint needs fixed. So I really don't have no idea. I just pray for y'all. Do the best you can. That's all I can tell you, because I don't know a street that don't need help. And please just be free. And another thing, do something, be prepared, get a little bit more salt. Build your salt up. Because I know for a fact in some streets, no matter what the excuse was, they received no treatment all winter. They had to put up with the ice.
Thank
They had
you,
to
Mr.
melt on its own.
Jones.
Thank you.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is April
I'm sorry, what was that, Madam Clerk?
Stone.
Big black woman driving the bus. Come on, I'm a man. Everybody got arrested when that woman told you that. They told drunk young man, you ain't gonna pick it up. Get off my bus, you got it. Them black women talk to a black man like that. Ain't that? You ask me where?
Y'all will call me when I feel my mouth full of candy. Wait a minute. Don't start my time yet. Okay. My name is April Stone. I had a problem with, well, I've been in my house 32 years, and it's a girl that got this house around the corner. She ain't but 23 years old. I've been in my house longer than she been in the world. This girl done got this property from Land Bank for probably $5,000. Then they showed her the property that run up behind my property for $1. Then they gave her, she done got 2 grants, $25,000 grants, to fix up a house. And I can't get a dime. And then now she putting the house up for sale. And I like to know how I can get a grant, $50,000. I've been paying taxes in property taxes in Flint since 1978. And I don't know why I can't get, because I worked, I can't get nothing. But everybody else can get, people that ain't did nothing. They rent it, and then they give them a house, and then they give them stuff to fix up the house, and then they let them sell the house. When I did get some help from, before I got in the shop, they told me I had to live in the house 5 years or I was gonna have to pay the stuff back. Now, how they getting this money And then the girl ain't never, I've been taking care of this property behind my house. That's where they're breaking into my home. My home is being invaded constantly. They're tearing up my property. I done took out loans and charged cars and fenced my property off. I ain't even got a square piece of property. I feel like I'm paying property taxes for the 5 properties that I'm connected to. I've been shot up, burned up, assaulted. The police won't come out. They tell me I'm crazy. When they do come out, they tell me I'm demented. Now I believe they lurking in my house. And they go shopping. People come shopping in my garage. So I done had to board my stuff up. They done been through my house so much till my home, I done had to, I can't even live in my home peacefully. It's not even secure. And I can't, and they tell me to show proof. My homeowner's insurance been canceled because of a land bank property next door to me that was supposed to been emergency tore down. 5 years ago, it's supposed to be an emergency demolition for this garage falling on my house.
Thank you, Ms. Stone.
That wasn't 3 minutes.
It was. Next public speaker, RL.
RL said
Stop.
what?
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
So if I can get some help, please.
The final speaker for this meeting is Taylor Sampson.
Taylor Sampson, 8th Ward resident. There's been too many people being directly harmed by this administration in our community due to lack of planning and accountability. More lives were lost in a fire this week. They were unhoused and seeking shelter where they could find it. Again, our fire department made a statement that seemed as if they were to blame for the fire. Those that were inside say they did not set a fire. We have to stop using that as a scapegoat. It's not a good look. Where is all the money and planning happening to ensure this isn't going to be a regular occurrence within the city's departments? We should not have to keep hearing discussions, and I'll get back to you when it comes to public health and safety in this community. A housing crisis is a public health crisis. This week, another apartment complex in Flint is evicting tenants with nowhere for them to go. Another condemned building people are paying rent in, and now they're getting nothing towards finding a new place. How many other apartment complexes are we going to need to worry about this happening at? So many of these units are owned by out-of-state investors. When the landlord isn't local, they really don't care what happens to those living here. How do we hold them accountable? The shelters are full. We do not have a city shelter. The lists of short-term housing are forever long. Where is everyone supposed to go? We are a city being held together by the nonprofit industrial complex. We give all this funding to these nonprofits to help our community. Somehow the work is still too much for them, or they build housing they claim is affordable. How is something that is $1,500 a month affordable in a city with a median income from the 2020 census of $40,000 a year? Where are the city dollars going to create a plan to ensure that those that call Flint can stay here and say Flint is still their home? At what point will we see preventative measures in place? What are we going to do to mitigate this? I know the clerk's office brought up at their budget hearing how many license requirements were stripped by the last emergency manager. Is this part of the reason we have so many landlords and contractors that are allowed to do away with maintenance on their facilities? Again, a housing crisis is a public health crisis. Use that to find more funding. If someone doesn't have a place to bathe, eat, and seek shelter in, or any healthcare providers, how are they living a healthy lifestyle? As a city that's been plagued by a public health crisis for 12 years this month, we have to start holding those in charge accountable for losing more lives due to their negligence. If you are a resident of Flint, you are welcome to join the Flint Housing Union. We as a team can achieve safe, truly affordable housing together. We meet the second Saturday of every month at the library, and you can follow Flint Housing Union on social media or our website, which is flinthousinganion.org. And one more thing that was requested by someone who couldn't come tonight. Back in January, I believe it was Candace that had put out an invitation to those that were ARPA recipients to come back to council and give us updates on what their money did to the community and how it helped address public issues. Have we ever followed up on that? To my knowledge and their knowledge, they haven't come back to council. So can we please work on that as well? Thank you.
Thank you. You said that was the final public speaker? I believe, do you have something that you needed to read, Madam Clerk?
No, not at this time.
Not at this time? Okay, thank you. All right, that closes out public speaking. It is now time for Council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers. Only after all public speakers have spoken, an individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes.
Madam
Is there
Chair.
anyone who wishes to
Yeah.
speak during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Thank you for all, we only have 2 minutes. To you, to the city attorney. Attorney Gurley, I would like a referral. We know that landlords have to pay a fee. The city is doing inspections. I would like to know about the properties and also a list of the properties if they're not in compliance, but also at 821 Martin Luther King. I know that one had just been sold, but that property was not secured, and everyone knew homeless were living in there because a week before they arrested about 4 or 5 out of there. And then 1001 South Saginaw, was that also one? If they're renting, they should have should be in compliance. And if we could let's have a referral to have the building and permit department come here at our next council meeting, if we can do that. Government ops. We could do special. I don't know if they're gonna be ready though, will they? Okay, but let's have them come to government ops. That way we can ask questions, because it's not, you pay, it's $475 for your landlord to stay in the property. And the tenants should know that it is safe. I mean, what are we taking fees for if they're not safe? And that is something that's important. So we can have them come to the next government ops, and if they could have information ahead of time, specifically about the two that had the fires and the residents that were put out, because I'm just not understanding with all the property issues, how are they inspecting? And if they are inspecting, because there are numerous issues, and are they understaffed? So we need a clear understanding, and we need some answers. Sorry, I couldn't. Thank you everyone who did come and spoke, but we do need to get a handle on this, and thank you for this letter. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, we're going to put that on the next government ops. We're going to do a special 30-minute discussion. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response?
Madam
Yeah.
Chair, go ahead.
Oh, yes, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
And I want to piggyback off of what Councilwoman Burns said as far as the landlords not paying the fee to do the inspection, in which we probably need to tighten up that ordinance. But my thing to the residents, do not lease or rent a property from any landlord unless they can provide you with an inspection certification. Don't live in their building, don't rent their house, don't rent from them. Okay, we do have a lot of slum lords in the area, and they are bypassing paying that rental inspection fee, in which every landlord in this city that owns a building should be paying for that rental inspection from the city. So we really do need to tighten up that ordinance. And thank you for coming forth. I'm Madam Chair.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak?
Madam
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
Ms. Muhammad, about the smoking and the oxygen, neighbor of mine did the same thing. Blew up in his face, burnt the inside of his mouth and his trachea, everything. He was in intensive care for a while, and his son was devastated. He was supposed to have a heart procedure, and that was put off, and they didn't know if he would be able to have that heart issue taken care of afterwards. And about housing, I have been working on housing solutions for a while now. I've been talking to the land bank and other interested in parties to try to revitalize some of the vacant lots that we are now having across the city. We need home ownership. I love the fact that we have rental opportunities, although they're very, very limited. And I agree with Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter that don't rent from somebody who's not licensed rental. I have been asked several times and talked about, it's been here, about a property on Ohio that they're receiving money and they have no water. I've made a referral to the Attorney General. I haven't heard a word on it. And that was several months ago, and I followed up with it. And all you can do is leave a message. I couldn't call anybody. So housing is a big issue. I want everyone to have a safe home. I'm not happy with these people who come in from out of town. They don't care. They look at the condition of the property and they walk away, and then it sits again and deteriorates, and somebody goes in there that's homeless and has a fire and it burns the building, or somebody goes, oh, I love to see buildings burn and I'm going to light it on fire. So we need to do something to be proactive, and I'm also in discussions with the city attorney about what we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for council response? Seeing as how there is no one else for council response, I will take some time. Ms. Stone, you have a lot of concerns. Normally, the pipeline for those concerns would be a city department. And then if you cannot get in contact with a city department, then next would be the mayor's office. And if for whatever the reason you cannot get in contact with the mayor's office, it would be your council person. So as you were talking, a lot of those issues, I was concerned because some of that is stuff that your council person can navigate you through. And so I would suggest reaching out to your council person. Or if you want to start with the city department and then go to the mayor's office, that's fine too. That's generally the escalation process for how things work. You had quite a few concerns. So if you have time to stay, I can probably help you navigate which city department. And that's also something your council person should be able to help navigate you through. But if you have time to stay after the meeting, I will gladly help you navigate through that. To the Flint Housing Unit, thank you. I did read your letter that you emailed to us earlier. There are quite a few bullet points here that I do agree with. I know you didn't have an opportunity to get through the bullet points, but I want you to know that I did read this. There are some things that will be addressed as far as your bullet points are concerned. And then there are some things that should be strongly considered. I'll put it that way. And I'm happy to have a conversation with the members of your housing unit as well, because there are some things that are being worked on to address these. So you are all actually right on time and you have no idea. At this point, I will yield. It's now time for the consent agenda. I will accept the motion for the consent agenda, and the consent agenda also includes the petitions and communications as well as the presentation of the minutes. Councilwoman Priestley. Is there support? This moved by Councilwoman Priestley, supported by Councilwoman Johnson. Are there any separations? Come on, y'all are beautiful. Seeing as how there are no separations, we will go ahead with the consent. Judy, Jerry, please, go ahead.
I would like to separate Resolution 260073.
7-3. Hold on one second. Let me get back over here. I believe it got here because we had everybody in agreement. We didn't have but 5 people here. Are there any more separations?
That's the only one.
We'll separate item 260073. Roll call, Madam Clerk. And that item for separation is the Budget Amendment 25-26 Annual Action Plan, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Community Development Block Grant. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Almeida is not in.
No, we just.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson? Yes. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns? Ms. Mashat? Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
6 yes, 0 no. The consent agenda passes. Now to our only separated item of the evening, Resolution 260073, which is the Budget Amendment 2526 Annual Action Plan, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Community Development Block Grant Dollars. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman Priestley.
motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve. Is there support? Support. Moved and properly supported by the councilwoman in the 3rd Ward. Is there discussion? Councilwoman in the 5th Ward, you have the floor.
Yes, Madam Chair. I separated this resolution because I will not be voting for this resolution. I have no further discussion on this resolution. My vote will be a no. Thank you.
Is there any more discussion? Discussion in the 2nd round. Roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is not in. The vote is 4 yes, 2 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 2 no. That fails. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman Priestley.
make a motion to send back to finance.
There's a motion to send back to finance. Is there support?
Support.
Moved and properly supported by the councilwoman in the 3rd Ward. Roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yeah, and that's community block grant.
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Ms. Burns.
I'm sorry. Send it back to finance. Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers.
Ms.
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis is not in. The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
6 yes, 0 no.
6 yes, 0 no. That resolution moves back to finance. I'll entertain a motion.
And it's so moved.
There's a motion to
Adjourn.
adjourn. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 9th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis is absent. Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. The time is 8:03 on Monday, April 13th. I hereby adjourn this Flint City Council meeting.
No, this is the one. I didn't vote on this. When does this year's come up yet?
They can hear you now.
Can they hear us?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Why I'm so blurry.
I don't know, probably because it kicked in. Say what you got to say. It's 8 o'clock. Time to go.
You rushing me?
Hell yeah. You gonna be up here by
Listen,
yourself.
thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It's just something that burns me up. Well, there's two things that burns me up. First of all, shout out to Councilwoman Tanya Burns, who took my slogan. Hey, T, you see how we change things around here. She had bitter mint for, what was it? Better for Burns. I don't know. It wasn't catchy enough. So we had to flip that shit up. And we did. Burns me up. And she took it and she ran with it. Tanya, you'll be receiving an invoice from A10 after you do the interview. I ain't trying to piss you off before the interview because that's going to be a classic right there. Me and Tanya Burns sit down for the first time ever in the same room without throwing hands. It's going to be a classic. But this is something I was thinking about, y'all. Check this out. They passed the sign language interpreter resolution for $25,000. And this burns me up because the contract was from April 2026 to June. That's 3 months, right? For $25,000. Who's getting that money? Because it's April the 13th. And they got to put it out in a bid for at least 2 weeks. Then they got to go through an interview process. Then it's got to come before council. It's going to be June. Just burns me up. But we'll talk about that more tomorrow. 6:15, the nightly nip. We got some interviews to do. Tanya Burns is coming on. Like I said, for the first time ever. Won't be tomorrow, though. I ain't gonna tell you when it's gonna be. Just keep watching. Deuces.
Peace. We want to do one of them little pop-ups on them.